Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your host, Hunter Smith. With me are Austin Smith,
Hey,
Drew Alderson, and a special guest, Ricky Joe White.
Hello.
We're going to start off with our guests, like always. Ricky, what is your past gaming experience as far as board games, card games, and even video games, if you've ever done any competing type things in video games?
he was born playing Heroclix.
Video games, I guess, was my first thing I got into. Halo 2, my cousin Josh and I played a lot. I wouldn't say we played like super competitively, but we played a lot on Xbox Live and got pretty high on the rankings. And then about senior year, I got into Killer Bunnies, Munchkin, some of the more not super competitive. I never played Magic or anything like that, but the more fun, like beat up your fellow player games that are fun to me. So, but Heroclix I got into when Hunter started playing. He brought he brought Cap over, so then I was automatically in love. Captain America's my favorite hero, so we played a couple little games. I had Avengers, and I think you were playing that Joker.
Yeah, the Legacy Joker.
Yeah.
And I played a lot of Street Fighter clicks back then, too, because that was most of what I had.
No,
The Blue Lantern Flash and Green Lantern from Blackest Night. That was the best combo back then.
But, I mean, that's... here you've got me in the Heroclix, and I haven't looked back since then.
You didn't mention Munchkin. We were just talking about Munchkin. Austin was asking me how it is.
Yeah.
I just played it for the first time. I bought the base set, and I love it so far. I know you're a big Munchkin player.
It's fun. I try to get all the expansions.
Who are your favorite comic characters, aside from Cap, of course?
Oh.
Just 2 or 3 of your top faves.
Well, since Brubaker brought back Bucky, I would have to say... I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of Bucky. I mean, I knew he was Cap's sidekick, and Cap struggled with it a lot, through the older issues, but when he brought back Bucky, he became one of my favorites. Iron Fist is probably my second favorite hero behind Cap, and then probably Moon Knight. I really like Moon Knight.
I still need to read all those.
Very good choices. Yeah. Who wrote the ones that I have the trades of? Dang it. The not Marvel, not Vengeance of Moon Knight, but the one that was before that. Which Vengeance of Moon Knight's not bad, but the run before that, dang it, the ones that I think you have the same trades too.
Yeah, I like
those are so good. That's the best Moon Knight books.
Deadpool and Moon Knight running at one point. I can't remember. Yeah. That is the one that that I'm talking about. That was good.
What is your favorite HeroClix set? I think I already probably know.
I liked Cap set. The one thing I feel like they missed out on a couple opportunities with
They need mutate generics for something.
Yeah, with like Arnim Zola, I feel like some of his villains they kind of missed an opportunity with, like a Droid and a couple other, stuff that I would have liked to see. I understand why they chose the characters they did, but Chaos War is probably my all-time favorite.
That was what I was gonna say. Does it rhyme with Chaos War or something?
That's what I was thinking too.
Right when you got me into Chaos War or to Heroclix, Chaos War was like coming out the next week or something.
Yeah, it was literally when it came out, when we started getting big into clicks.
And I remember buying that, and I pulled Century Void, which I didn't really ever get a chance to play with it because I think I ended up selling it.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know what I should do. I'm like, he's like $80 right now. Sell him.
The first time you played that 1800 point Galactus, and you put Centroid on our team, and you're like, oh, he's not going to be that great, and we murdered
we were playing.
We also cheated a lot.
Yeah, we also didn't know the rules. I didn't know that...
You didn't have a Herald.
I didn't know... I didn't play a Herald. We didn't know Colossal Stamina, like that I could keep attacking. Also, we didn't know that while you're based, you can still shoot.
Yeah. Because
that was the first time we played a Colossal. But yeah, I was looking at that picture, actually, when I was moving my pictures over to my new phone. And you guys had, like, Sentry Void, the Chanos. You had a bunch of really stupid pieces on it. Genus Vel.
I've got a question for Ricky. How many CURs of Chaos War do you think you've pulled in your lifetime?
Actually, I think I bought 2 bricks, and then I bought that one like half brick from when I finally pulled Avengers Prime, and I think that was like.
Yeah, because I bought like a few of the boosters and I didn't pull the chase, and I was all happy with what I pulled, and you're like, I'll take the rest of them.
Yeah, and I finally pulled them, and that was like, oh. But I don't know, probably 2 or 3, honestly, not too many. I mean,
favorite 3 Heroclix figures, like specific figures.
Cap 40 from Captain America.
Smoky Foot.
No, well.
Oh, the Peanut Cap.
Yeah, Peanut Cap. Smoky Foot. They're like tied. They're.
I think they're both 40.
Yeah, they are both 40.
Okay.
But I love both of those pieces, so I'd say that's number 1.
Scumbag.
That Red Skull with the Cosmic Cube.
Yeah, he's really good.
Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm. And then, man.
If you don't say Avengers Prime, it would be bad.
Yeah, I guess Avengers Prime would be my next.
Me and Austin were talking about Avengers Prime the other day, and I was telling him I have actually never played against it, had to play against it or with it. I've gotten lucky enough.
How many times?
Like, he's been in several tournaments that I've been in, but I've never had to actually, somehow, I've never been matched up against it.
He's one of those pieces that, like, if you have the capability to handle him, you can lock him down.
Yeah.
But if your opponent is able to run free with Avengers Prime, just quit. Like, there's no stopping him sometimes.
Today we're going to discuss the games we played this week, new spoilers and other news that's come out in the Clix world. And our main topic today is discussing possible DC main sets that could come out after this current Marvel run, and some ideas for what the next big event for DC could be, along with maybe ideas for resources or some other kind of key component to the DC event. And then we'll go over our community section, answer some questions, and we will announce the Dial Contest winner. Let's get into what we played this week. We just got back from the Dugout. We played 1,000 points, Lord of the Rings. This is another one of the Gen Con preparation events. This is, of course, our last one because Gen Con is next week. I
shall bow to Sauron.
I didn't get to play because we had an uneven number of points or people I sat out. So let's start with Drew. Drew, how'd it go?
Your team looked
All right, so this won't take long because we'll just be able to condense it into one quick. Hey Andrew, you came up with a team, right? Oh yeah, I did. Turns out Austin had the same exact team.
Almost down to like 1 or 2 figures. It was crazy.
That immediately put the air out of my balloon. My parade was rained on, effectively. So, basically what we're playing is the Sauron from the original set, the starter Sauron, who is pretty ridiculous in the 1,000-point game because you can make people not do anything.
His epic action stops per 200 you stop 1 character from taking a power or move action for that turn. So you literally lock down 5 figures.
Yep.
As long as you just keep throwing a token on them every turn.
He's got a pulse wave where you can give everyone a token that you hit.
He's got Outwit, Perplex.
And that's with a 10 range, so that's
Exploit.
within 5 squares on that.
I love his damage ability though, because it's Outwit, Perplex, and Exploit, and they can't counter anything else he has till they counter it.
It's pretty ridiculous. He's got like a lot of imperv.
He's got a giant Quake too.
10 clicks alive.
Because he's a giant, so you can just
And he can
Quake him.
phase and then immediately be given a free attack with giant reach ability with a -2 attack, which is fine because he has a 12 attack already. So
But
he's a
Drew,
10 and a 4 for free.
What piece did we both run 2 of that is really good and negates that -2 on his attack?
Mouth of Sauron. And Mouth of Sauron's really ridiculous because of that Perplex. It's just so good if you're within 5 squares, you don't have to have line of sight and you can perp down someone by 2.
Well, you can do the 2 no matter what, but
Yeah.
and he's an 8 range double bolt.
With
his
mind control.
Yeah, and his bottom half of his dial.
Yeah, he's got stealth, regen, and outwit, and
And Pinside Blast it with,
Yeah,
once again, with
Pinside
8 range
Blast.
double bolt.
he's just so good. Also, the Saruman from Fellowship of the Ring, the new one, the rare.
I think that guy did the most carrying for me.
He's
all
so
day.
good.
Yeah.
His mind control's ridiculous. You get a 10 range and you don't need line. You need line.
You
don't need
ignore blocking and elevated.
Blocking and elevated. You don't ignore characters though, so you have to work around that. But it's still really good.
Oh yeah. If I had $1 for every time I made my opponent Sauron smack one of his own characters, It would have paid my way into that tournament.
You're probably thinking, like... Well, that's the team right there, obviously. That's got to be, 600 points? I still got 400 points left.
And you know what they are?
Orc archers.
Hundreds of archers.
The orc archers that also ignore... they just ignore what? Elevated?
They ignore hindering and elevated.
Hindering and elevated.
So they look right through stealth, and that's only if they're adjacent to another character that shares a keyword with them that's equal to or more points value and range 5 or higher.
Which applies to each other and to
But they have
Saruman.
enhancement on their top dial, and 2 damage already. So you line them up, and you just rain arrows from the sky. It's like, as you said, my favorite thing was you hit somebody with an archer, and they're like, "Oh, how hard did you hit me?" And be like, 5. And they'd be like, they'd look over and be like, "But it only says 2." And it's like 1, 2, 3.
3 enhancements. You keep them together.
How many points are there?
50.
40.
40?
Yeah,
40.
they're cheaper.
Do the Orc Warriors have...
I used a...
They should have Forces of Sauron, too.
Okay.
I used a little guy, I think it's Gorbag or whatever. He's like 40 points also, but he has leadership enhancement, and then he drops like flurry blades and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good piece.
Really good. I ran 2 of those with my archers, kept those 2 in the back to enhance the archers, and then when they moved up, I'd move up my Gorbags.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. And then because Sauron's giant, it's kind of a downfall against this team. And that's the one thing I really liked is if an enemy's got a Sauron, all your archers are like, oh, I can just see him from about everywhere. And
You double perp down his defense, outwit it with Saruman, and there's not much he's going to do.
Well, and that's the other thing that's great about that Saruman is freaking... He gets outwit prob. He's in Dom, which there's a high risk of getting out action in this. But you're running a good minion army with some solid big pieces. I loved it.
We could sit here and probably talk about each round, but I will sum it up into whoever won the roll won the game. Because
Sauron just locks down the other Sauron.
Because it states choose and not target, it ignores first round immunity on stopping them from making actions. So in me and Andrew's game, like I went first, I locked him down, moved archers into position. By the time Andrew could move up, everything was clear and I was ready to start unleashing hell.
No, I didn't even think about that as far as first round immunity.
Because I brought that up. I mentioned it to you when you were asking about it. Because first round immunity states you can't be targeted, you can't be something or another. But there's a bunch of, at the beginning of the game, choose traits.
Yeah, I'll check it out just to make sure before Gen Con. I don't remember, you guys. I didn't actually play, like I said, but I'll write that down to look up just to make sure.
I also did a Fear Itself Thursday. I ran a Iron Fist Heimdall on a 300 with Book of the Skull to fill out. That was fun. We taught like Ricky was there.
Mm-hmm.
We taught like I don't know freaking there were like 8 new people there. It was freaking crazy.
Yeah, the bad thing about Fear Itself, in my opinion, is for those new people coming in, none of them, like I gave the last 2 Fear Itself events at CBU, I've given away Book of Skull resources. Because I feel bad because like if you don't have a Book of Skull, you're not going to get +2 attack. It's real, I mean, it's an uphill battle for some of those people, you know.
In that set, it almost seems like a necessity to have.
Yes.
Because there's so many high defense values.
Because I ran Tanaris
Oh, freaking...
with Mox Hammer.
Yeah, Tanaris with Mox Hammer is really
It's just game over, dude.
Yeah.
Titania, who's a lot better than I thought she was going to be. I mean, because a lot of people have super strength, so...
She's solid.
Yeah. And then I had Speedball.
Yeah, Speedball awesome.
Yeah. And he's...
Oh, did you know that you can run into walls and trigger that ability? Yeah, I was going to use that next time I pull him. I just happened to read that on Realms the other day,
That's
but
really good.
because of the way it's worded, you can use Speedball's ability and attack walls and blocking and stuff and get those tokens for the pluses.
That's
That's
crazy.
really
It
good.
still counts.
But I made a horrible tactical error during my second game that cost me from going like 2-1, and that was he had a flyer and I had Iron Fist, and it was the Black Widow, and she was running up and down. And so I pushed, and I went after Robin instead because I didn't want to sit and chase the Black Widow. I wanted to walk out as many points as I could. Forgot the hammer technically gives him +2, and he had flurry. So he flurried me for 3 and then 3 and murdered my Iron Fist. But what I should have done, since his Black Widow had 2 tokens, was to chase him down the cliff, tie her up, get to where Robin couldn't properly see me and shoot me, and then make him waste a turn and then just blast him the next turn.
Yeah.
What kind of boosters were you using with Fear itself?
It was 5 gravity feeds. We got 2 Pacific Rim, 2 Teen Titans gravity feed, and a Lord of the Rings. which was really weird.
It was only 300 points, and there was Pacific Rims in there.
Yeah, that was the problem I had.
That seems like a horrible.
I think he was
layout.
just wanting to move product, probably.
It was weird.
Somebody did run the big. What's the big one's name?
Cherno Alpha. I know Scott.
They're all big
Scott
ones.
ran Cherno.
Yeah, the
Slantern.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I saw someone run a full, or not a full.
And it got
but-
wrecked by Dracula.
I was gonna say they would be horrible anyways in 300 because think about it. Book of Skulls. What's the worst thing about facing a tent pole? They're hard to hit, especially those guys. They all have like 20 defense, and you're like, I'm never gonna hit this 20. Not when a hammer gives you +2 exploit.
Yeah.
You're just cutting right through.
So
them.
what you run in with Drac, you get 2 steal it energy, and you're just like...
And their team ability is
Mystics.
So he didn't get to heal because
I did see a Drac drop a hammer and heal 3 on the second turn though, and it was a pretty beautiful thing as he proceeded to wreck everybody.
Yeah, we were recently talking about how good vampires are with Book of Skull. Period. Just for the quake, for the steel energy, and
I can't wait to
the
play that
ability to
Vampire
hit.
Jubilee with one. Holy crap!
She's so nuts, man. She's so cheap. And then Wednesday we played at Game Preserve. And Austin, tell us about your team.
Okay, so I've been wanting to play Kurth for a while.
Oh, I should explain the team build.
Yeah.
600 points, Silver Age. Nothing but figures and ATAs are allowed, but the key point of the build is nobody on your team can share a keyword with anybody else on your team. So most people went with what would be easy, which is like 3 or 4 figures, so that way they don't. It's easier to get around the keyword thing. And I would say the average team that we saw was 3 or 4 figures.
Yeah.
Did anybody play Static?
Nobody played Static.
I think he'd be MVP of that event.
Go ahead, Austin.
I saw one guy played a Centroid, which we usually don't see often. But I ran I wanted to use that Red Tornado. I've talked about him on the podcast once or twice. He's one of those pieces I've wanted to find a good use for. Because he's a cool piece, I like his TK and everything. So I built a barrier support team around Kurth. And what I ran was Kurth with Thunderbolts, 50-point Scarlet Witch, Bunker, Red Tornado, and Omen. And the goal was to build a team that ignored line of sight on a bunch of stuff. Could put Kurth in position, weaken his target, and then I could just pick them up and smash them headfirst through a bunch of walls. Well, we had just got done talking last week about how, or was it the week before, map choice is so important.
That was our very first podcast, actually, when we talked about... Oh, last week was map choice.
Yeah.
It kind of was the first one, too, because...
Yeah, because I got wrecked on a few bad
Because
ones.
I said, look at the cards before you pick map. That's what was making me think of first.
No, I played that Realm of Death map I've been wanting to try out against another guy's Hawkeye support team. Like, he built a whole team set to make Thunderbolt's Hawkeye really, really good. So I ended up picking...
I don't think he needs support to be really,
I
really
know.
good. But
So-
go ahead.
So I picked that map, which is just a maze of 2x2 hallways with walls in between. We spent probably 30 minutes of the 45 with him just blowing up walls, trying to get to where he could shoot Kurth. And as soon as he could take a shot at Kurth, I just ran over behind a bunch of other walls and he had to start over again. We almost ended the match like 84 to 89 or something like that, and he finally picked off one more figure towards the end. But my second match, the guy was playing that Slate, which we talked about him last week. That Slate's ridiculous.
Dear Lord.
But he also had Kurth. Well, Omen is a piece a lot of people slept on from Teen Titans. She's ridiculous for 98 points.
She really is.
She's Calculator, she's Mastermind, In-Cap. She gets a -2 Perplex without requiring line of fire, and Mind Control without requiring line of fire. So what I did was I Mind Controlled his Kurth. I -2'd his defense, Mind Controlled him, picked up his Slate after he spent a few turns trying to get Slate into position, ran Slate through 3 walls, dropped him next to my Red Tornado, which was down on Close Combat Expert. Then my Kurth picked up his Kurth, ran right back through the walls, and then smashed his Kurth. And then I killed his Slate and finished off Kurth. Oh, it was a fun match. That Kurth is one of the most fun pieces I've ever played.
We should note that that map is good against team bases.
Oh yeah, because it slows them down. They have to play through the maze to try to get through.
Yeah, it limits their options to where they can move because they can't stop in a lot of places and legally end their movement.
And there's not a lot of hindering that would block line of fire to them. Whereas some of them, like the Justice League teammates, as Batman ally.
Yeah.
And on some maps, they can hide behind little gaps of hindering just enough to where you can't draw a line of fire without hitting it. there's like none on this. If they're in a hallway and there's one piece of hindering over towards the wall or whatever, it's not going to really help them that much.
You went 2-1, right?
Yeah, I lost the first one.
What was your whole team?
It was Red Tornado, Bunker, Omen, Kurth. Red Tornado, Bunker, Omen, Kurth, a damaged Warbot, and a 50-point Scarlet Witch. Which I just calculated the Mystics with Omen and just tore it up. And Bunker was good too.
So I use this event, as I do most events at Game Preserve, as an opportunity to try a bunch of pieces that I have that I've needed to try. And like we just said, most people ran 3 or 4 pieces because they were trying to get around the not sharing a keyword thing. And my team has 9 characters. And somehow, out of these 9 characters, I didn't share any keywords. Only 2 of the 9 had I ever played before, and the other 7 were pieces that I've been wanting to try that I've had for a while. And it's kind of a wild card abuse team. It's the new Shocker, the Spider Girl that can carry and heal, the Web of Spider-Man Black Cat, Web of Spider-Man Rocket Racer, Secret Invasion Punisher, who has the chain gun ability.
Oh, he's awesome.
Where he's actually the main reason I built the team, was because I wanted to play him. I've been wanting him forever, period. I finally just got him. He was okay. He was worth his points, but he wasn't as good as I thought he'd be. His chain gun ability is he makes a ranged attack and hits somebody, and then afterwards he can make a free ranged attacks targeting anybody adjacent to them, so he can keep on getting free shots as long as they're all next to each other. I did Cheshire from the team base, Abensur, 50-point Abensur with a Green Lantern team ability, and Nightshade from Arkham Asylum, and Blue Beetle, the Jaime Reyes Mystics Blue Beetle.
I would just like to say anyone who puts Rocket Racer on a team deserves the win, in my opinion.
So, and I put Thunderbolts on Shocker. So the whole key way I made the team work is...
Wait, Shocker is Thunderbolts?
Yeah. So if you've never, people sleep on the Green Lantern team ability, and I had all these characters. Abensur only cost me 50 points, and he can carry every single one of them.
That's ridiculous.
Well, he can't carry Blue Beetle because he's a flyer, but he can carry the rest of them. And then all of them are. I have 2 Mystics, Nightshade and Blue Beetle, and Shocker has Sinister Syndicate, and I put Thunderbolts on him, and I chose Avengers Initiative. Every other piece on my team is a wild card. So almost all of them have Mystics, the ability to ignore hindering, and the ability to share attack values, and they can copy Green Lantern team ability.
That's ridiculous.
And when I got there and we looked at everybody's power pieces, like you said, somebody had 2 people might have had Centroids.
I think so.
I think 2 people had Centroids, and there were so many Kurths, Superboy Prime, and I was like, I looked at Phil, I was like, I should have brought a better team. I'm going to get destroyed. I ended up winning.
I was so sad because, the reason I wanted to play Kurth was I thought everyone had gotten Kurth out of their system.
Yeah.
And so I bring him along, I build this nice little TK team with him and all this stuff, and then 50 of them there.
The problem I knew I was going to run into was energy explosion, because I have 9 people next to each other. So at the beginning of each game, I'd look at the other team and I'd be like, alright, which one of your guys has energy explosion? And luckily, I didn't run into any at all. The first game...
Did you not play the Hawkeye team?
No.
Oh.
The first game I played the guy, you played the second, Corey. He had a pretty balanced team. He had Kurth,
and his team,
we had a close match, but I ended up winning on points. The second team, he had kind of a tent Polish, he had 4 Fear Itself figures, and I beat him in 3 turns. Just kept picking them apart. Plus, he was taking Mystics and pushing, and I just picked them apart. And then the last match was against a really good team. It was Superboy Prime, the Deathstroke that you can't move past, Hela from the Fear Itself, and Spidey 2099. And so my whole thing was his Spider-Man's copying Mystics, and of course you got to worry about Superboy Prime. He can one-shot anybody on the team. So I kept sending in people to tie up Superboy Prime, people with Mystics, to tie him up, and he kept flurrying them and taking 1 tick after 1 tick. And of course I'm losing people, but it's worth it in my book. I parked we were playing on the Bioshock map. I put Nightshade up on the top of the stage.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what her special ability is, I've been wanting to play her forever too. She does a smoke cloud, and then at the end of the opponent's next turn, everybody who occupies a smoke cloud takes 2 damage. Not penetrating, but still 2 damage.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So my weight, I never took a single Mystics from Spidey because the reason his team was so good is because you don't want to attack
Mystics.
You don't want to attack Hela first. Yeah, he was doing what I was doing, abusing Mystics, except I had 9 Mystics or 7 Mystics. The problem with Mystics and Hela and somebody copying her Mystics is there's no point in. Usually, you want to do what? Kill the Mystics first.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that to her because she heals very
Yeah.
easily. Anytime somebody dies, she heals
Over
up.
50 points.
And she's hard to hit anyways because she has prob and imperv, like, handily for most of her dial. So I went after Spidey first, and I killed him solely from Poison and from Nightshade's ability, and from him taking Mystics. I never had to take Mystics from him. One time, I killed off Superboy Prime finally. That mother freaker lived forever. And like I said, I kept making him take Mystics, and then Blue Beetle got a few shots on him. I killed Nightstroke or Deathstroke pretty easily, and then time ran out whenever he had Hela, and I had like 5 guys left. We didn't pull anything too exciting for prizes,
the prizes
though.
were really lame.
And
for
we
how
opened,
much we opened.
It's like 16 boosters, I think, and I don't think a single chase was pulled out of those 16.
That's a bummer.
Right.
The best thing out of all of them was Black Adam Super Rare from Superman.
Yep, I ended up taking Aquaman, Superman Super Rare because I remember somebody wanted them
Yeah,
in
that
that
was
group.
Randy.
No, well, there's 2 people that want them. So, anyways, that was a fun event, though. It's another example of what we were talking about last week: event builds that make people think twice.
Yeah, that's why I ran with a lot of characters that had like one proper keyword, like the Nowhere and stuff like that from Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
I think on my team altogether, there's probably like 25 keywords on all these guys. It took me forever to build it, and they're, like I said, they were all wild cards.
It's pretty legit, and plus you
It was
have Rocket
very-
Racer.
Once again, I state Rocket Racer.
I was amazed that it was doing as well as it did. But like I said, Energy Explosion would have screwed me. Although they would have killed themselves from taking all that Mystics on Energy Explosion. Think
true.
about it. They would have to take like 5-6 clicks just off Mystics.
What if you had gone up against that Hawkeye team? I'd imagine it would have been like snipe your main Mystics and then.
I had 2 for
Oh,
that
yeah,
sole
2.
purpose. And I always kept Blue Beetle back at max range.
Yeah.
On each game, I was like, initially I didn't have Nightshade in there, and I was like, they're just going to go after Blue Beetle. So I put Nightshade in there, and I kept Blue Beetle in the start area and just running shot from max range.
So
Never had a problem.
I would like to say we had talked about the Thule Society Priest a few weeks ago, and I think I've decided how I can break them. Next time there's like a 2,000 point event, I'm going to get as many Thule Society Priests as I can, run a 50-point Scarlet Witch in the back, play the Realm of Death map, and flood it. And then just Mystics copy and make them tear their way through all of them to get to the Scarlet Witch.
Unless they play a Spiral and they just pop up and slap her in the face.
Oh, we'll get to that here in a few moments.
So I guess that segues us into the news section. Everybody knows the most important news is that football starts back this week, and the Colts are playing. That's all we need to talk about.
Colts.
Spiral is a figure that got spoiled that has the boards in an uproar.
She
Really?
can do some stuff.
I couldn't tell by the 20-plus threads where everyone would shut up about her.
Initially, when I saw the piece, everybody was like, God, this is broken, God, this is broken. I'm like, it's good, but it's not quite broken. Because she's expensive.
Yeah.
It's a double power action. And I was like,
I think
I don't think it's broken. But then the more I think about I thought about ways to abuse it and ways to stop it, it's pretty broken. I don't think it's going to affect the meta, though.
Yeah.
I think people are getting freaked out and that it's stupid broken. I don't think it's going to affect the meta because she's too expensive.
That's what I was going to say. In the 300-point meta, she takes up too much of a team. Unless there ends up being a really good setup of Brotherhood pieces or something to run with her, I don't think we're going to be seeing too much of her in the 300 meta. My problem with her is going to come down to when we play these larger, random assorted games.
When you play your weekly games.
When I put her on a zombies
So
team
first let's talk about her ability before we talk ways to abuse it and to try to combat against it.
Do we have to tell them how to abuse it?
She has an excellent sculpt. She looks awesome. Her dial, see the thing is, she's worth her points just off her dial.
Yeah, she is.
She has Pulse Wave a lot of, she's hard to hit from range with 17 Energy Shield. She has Prob a lot. She has the special blades later in her dial. She gets Charge, Flurry, Blades, and she gets to re-roll her D6 on her blades once per turn, which is stupid. She has shape change and reflexes. So she has 8 full clicks. She's definitely worth her points, I think, for 106 points.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But the problem with her is her trait.
It's a trait.
Give Spiral a double power action. Remove all gateway markers from the map and place 2 gateway markers on the map. Place one in an adjacent square, and the other may be placed in any square on the map. Friendly characters may treat squares with gateway markers as adjacent to each other for movement purposes. Now, there's several beefs with this trait. Number one, it's one of those things that we've been talking about that I've been saying I dislike it because it's a mechanic that takes tactics out of the game. It's just like Kid Flash, where he doesn't do anything except warp over and punch you and warp back. This is something that doesn't require you to position. It doesn't require you to pace with your action tokens on who's going to do what when. You just plop it down and boom, you're ready to rock.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that frustrates me about it is part of the joy that I derive from Heroclix is that slow encroachment on your opponent, the setup as you prepare, and then the first volley of attacks. This just turns the game into more Alpha Strike, which we all hate about Justice League and Ghost Rider teams already, and they're throwing more at us. Except she enables it. There's no keyword lock. There's nothing like that on it to restrict it. So this works with anyone.
Yeah, like he said, another one of my beefs is that it doesn't require any keywords for you to share with them. It's just period. So there's going to be tons of possible combinations, even with pieces that we haven't even seen yet, that could come out in future sets. And the other thing is that they can't use the gateway. The other team can't use it either to get to your Spiral.
It would have been... I feel like I would have had more fun with it, actually, even if I was using her, if they could come back through it. Because then you could set up traps with it. You could do all kinds of tactics.
It makes sense. I mean, if you're opening a portal, shouldn't it work both ways?
Yeah. She's going on all my zombie teams.
Honestly, I'll probably play her and just not even use the trait. Like, she'd be fun, period.
She's a good piece
without even
without
having the trait.
Well, her keywords alone are amazing.
So people are up in arms about the trait because, like we said, it's super easy. It's basically, think about the fact that if you have hypersonic characters, if you play her with 150-point Superman, he can run through, punch somebody, run right back to your starting area.
Rinse and repeat.
They can't do shit about it because they can't go through the thing. So you're covering the full map. I mean, it's just...
Or dare say in
ridiculous.
very large point games, team bases can abuse that.
Yeah.
They could run through with like hypersonic as a power action for the ones that have it later in their dial or whatever, or even just charge through as a power action, then move action back out.
Yep.
And it just makes it so much worse.
I think, and the main thing people are pissed about is, like we said, it takes tactics out of the game. Even if this power was horrible, like it wasn't that good, still, quit putting things in the game that remove tactics from the game. That's my main beef.
Didn't someone say they were reducing power creep with Teen Titans?
It was fun.
I was the one who kept saying it looks like they're going to be reducing power creep because SOG...
The 8s on the attack.
SOG and Teen Titans got the shaft, especially Teen Titans.
Even Batman, to a point, started like going downhill.
Yeah.
Then Titans and stuff was like the Valley, and then all of a sudden with Wolverine and the X-Men, we're right back, if not higher than Chaos War on some stuff.
Basically, they shafted DC sets and
Yeah,
Marvel, the good stuff.
Poor Simon with his 7 attack on his last clicks.
I didn't even know they made 7s in the attack slot anymore.
They still do.
So what do you guys think, Ricky and Drew, about the trait?
I totally understand. I like the strat. That's why the one thing I don't like about resources. I feel like everybody on forums and stuff I see, they're like, well, this character's good, but they don't have endoms. Well, let's slap a,
13-point belt on there.
10 point just to get in.
Yeah, 10-point belt or Infinity Gauntlet. And so I totally understand that. And I see this, and if I did use her, I would use it more like, I wouldn't go and do an Alpha Strike with her. Even though that's tempting, I would use her and have, I don't know, if someone set up a good
she ruins my map choice.
Elevated. A lot of people like to use elevated and kind of shoot down at you. Well, it'd be kind of cool to be able to pop in behind them. That kind of situational stuff I see would be very cool.
They could have. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But I think it is a little broken that you can use that, have a team base or a Ghost Rider or any, heck, but look at all the Fear Itself pieces now that are just so beefy and stuff that you
Yeah,
can
no.
just come through. Like Colossus. Colossus could do it, charge.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
he can charge
again.
through, charge again. I was gonna say because I think what you were about to say is they could have at least put a range restriction.
Yeah, that's
on
what I
it.
was going to say. They could have made it have to be within so many
And
squares.
that would have been awesome.
It would have been
technically.
fair. It's a double power action. It would have been, let's say, 10 squares even. That's being liberal, but still, that's not
Yeah.
broken.
You could portal up, clear her next turn, move her through the portal, and then open another one to step across the map again. There could be some fun tricks with that.
Anyone with running shot and sidestep is going to just have a field day with
Oh,
Spiral.
I didn't even think about that.
You
could
running shot through the portal
and then
you
sidestep back out as your
out.
free act. Oh man.
So, we're going to talk about some ways to break this piece first, and then we'll talk about some possible ways
Are there any?
against it. For one, she has Brotherhood. The new Magneto, I can't remember if it's the Prime one or the regular one. We'll
The
look
prime
and check.
one's the white one that has the Fortress X and stuff like that.
You got to think that these two are meant to be played together, because the Magneto's
Yep.
trait is if he occupies an opponent's starting area, give him a power action and choose a square on the map. For each character occupying that square or an adjacent square, roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled. On a result of 4 to 6, deal that character 3 damage. That's fine.
It's kind of funny.
The problem is nobody's going to use it for that.
I will.
Use her for that. I mean the average bear.
I am more than the average bear.
We
my
know you
friend.
are, buddy.
He's a super bear.
So
This is getting good.
any kind of powers that help with starting area stuff, it's also going to help capture teams.
I was going to say capture teams are going to
get back and forth.
Lockups now viable.
We already
No.
mentioned hypersonic, run
Shut
in,
up, Hank.
run back out. You're never at risk at all. Unless you crit miss and lose hypersonic top click or
And that
something
was
like that.
already one of my beefs with hypersonic, and it got nerfed a bit, which helped. One of my problems with hypersonic is it leads to these, and I've run into this in sealed so much. Run in, punch, run behind a wall, and literally you can lose the whole game because you can never get up to them to stop them.
Well, in sealed, it is a problem.
Yeah.
In constructed, you should always have some kind of. You should always take that
Yeah.
in consideration. What am I going to do against hypersonic?
Plasticity.
I mean, you don't even have to have plasticity. Just as long as you have people who, like 1 or 2 guys with movement attack who can get
Yeah.
to where they go. This ability is going to be really done with running shot pulse wave, like Black Bolt.
Yep.
Black Bolt's instantly, and look, actually they would be
Prime.
300 points.
Hobgoblin Prime would be ridiculous with this.
She's 110. That Black Bolt's what, 140 or 60, something like that.
Yeah.
He's definitely below 200, and he's definitely below 194. So
Oh my god.
you could fit them both, probably even a belt on. Actually, I think Black Bolt's 193.
I think it's R194.
I thought it was
know
like
he's, right
184
there.
or something like that.
Either way, they're gonna fit on a 300 point team together. Let's see how much that Black Bolt is. 193. So
193.
yeah,
That's
They'll
7
fit.
points for a belt.
Oh my.
no, because she's 209 or 106. I mean,
Yeah.
No,
so it'd be 299 total.
And he in his is what, double power action, and it does.
Oh, he doesn't have running shot though.
And you can't running shot double.
I was thinking he had running shot. That's my bad. Anyways,
Well, heck, any running
you could
shot pulse wave.
yeah, you could
You could get some cheap.
There's
good
tons
running
of
shot
running
pulse
shot
wave.
pulse
Red
wave.
Skull.
running
Yeah.
shot batarangs. That's a good one I thought of.
Yeah.
You could take a Green Lantern with running shot, carry your whole team through the portal because you only need to move 2 squares,
Yeah.
and then take your shot, drop all your guys down, and they're ready to freaking punch people in the face.
Can you teach
You
it
could
through the
use-
portal?
No, because it's
No.
only for movement.
Yeah, you can't
purposes.
TK through it. You could use a heavy melee piece, like one of the Fear Itself beefy guys, charge through, hit. They don't even have to have a way to get back through the portal. You could use Bat Signal and pull them back
Oh
to
my
your starting
gosh.
area as soon as it hits.
I may or may not be thinking about abusing Kurth with this thing and just grabbing people, running them through the portal, then through a bunch of blocking
That's Nightcrawler.
And then the obvious
God,
one,
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler with the capture team. The obvious one would be Ghost Rider and Heroes for Hire.
Yeah.
Anybody got any other really stupid ideas?
Oh,
Zombies.
yeah.
That's
pile
not really
50
stupid.
zombies through the portal.
That's not. See, that's fun though. I would not get
Yeah,
mad at
that-
my opponent if they did that with a bunch
You
of
would
zombies.
when they all have shape change and you spend 4 hours rolling dice.
Because the zombies aren't that great attackers, anyways. The whole thing
you
is
take that back.
the whole thing is having to take that much damage guaranteed. You know what I mean?
It's
think-
my 8th day and my 50th shape change roll.
I think it'd be interesting to see her like put the 10-point belt on her, so she'll be what 116,
Yeah.
and then build a lot of support around her,
Yeah, I was gonna say that she'd be a fun
like
piece.
some secondary attackers and
Yeah.
stuff for her.
If you threw like something that gave willpower on her and personally just used her with her portal, you could do some fun stuff with her.
Should have given her
Somebody-
X-Men keyword.
Somebody have a cheap flyer, they can carry her through the portal.
Yeah.
I think the piece will be played on meta teams with some other things, but I don't think it's going to affect the meta as much as everybody's outraged about.
Yeah.
Personally, just because of her cost.
And I definitely
her
don't
point
think
cost.
she'll find a place on JL or Ghost Rider.
See, here's the problem with her though. She doesn't help against team bases. I mean, maybe minusculely.
She hits
The problem right now is the Justice League team base. So not only have they created a really stupid figure, but they're not even doing it as a rock paper scissors thing. It doesn't. It's just another problem. It's another wrench.
meta thing that they have to fix.
I mean, everybody is gonna be. If you're the guy, if you go to Game Preserve every week and 5 people are running Spiral, you're just gonna get sick of this game after a while.
Here's the only hope that I'm really holding out on this. There's still a few SRs and stuff we haven't seen from the set. I'm hoping there might be something that slows this down a little bit.
Even something that specifically talks about gateway markers,
Yeah.
but it better be cheap. It better be Leech.
Leech.
Seriously, I mean that's
We're
what it
all
needs to be.
Unspoken and Leech with that.
I don't mean it has to specifically be Leech, but I mean it better be a really cheap way to nerf it,
No,
so that
you
it can
want
fit,
Leech.
so that you can play your team, you can play your Avengers team, and throw Leech on there to stop something stupid, like stop a team
Yeah.
base or stop this. That's what they need. They need little pieces like that hinder. They don't need to add more freaking throw more wrenches in the problem.
Yeah, I think Unspoken and Leech are going to have some good use with her too.
Well, the problem is Leech isn't modern anymore, though.
Oh yeah. Unspoken.
So, thinking about ways to stop her. Plasticity is the big one. But the problem is,
If they charge through, they're still going to stop and get the swing.
if you have 4 characters and one of them has plasticity, they can pop this portal down wherever the hell they want to. They could put it on the I mean, you can't have your guy be everywhere. Your whole team's not going to have plasticity.
Yeah.
They can easily get around it by putting the portal in a certain area. So plasticity helps, but it's not stopping it. We talked about burying the portal.
It's on
Problem
their
is,
turn.
they do it on their turn. They'll just wait until they're ready. Like Ghost Rider's prep timed up. He just cleared. He's ready to go. Then they're going to pop the portal down. You're not going to know where it goes. If you can, you could try to barrier in your team. But think about it. You only get 4 barrier tokens.
And they
4
have to
barrier
get their
tokens
line
can
of fire.
only block 1 person in the middle, completely in. So you're going to have 2 people with barrier. And then you could do... You're still looking to only fit, like... You might, on certain maps, you can probably fit 3 people in a 2-person barrier.
I guess
That's a
I'm-
lot of points and power actions to spend on that. And it's just...
It's
I
just
And then you're going to have
guess
to
on-
clear it, and they're going to hit you the next turn.
On the double witch Ghost Rider team, like if we're talking like 300 point meta, and like she ends up on a meta team of her own, I could see it being fine because you would barrier them in, and they'd have to hit one of the witches and take mystics, which would weaken them for Ghost Rider, of course. But then they'd run right back through the portal. And then what? You're going to just keep pushing your characters to barrier repeatedly?
I don't know. I just think the biggest thing is that it doesn't go away at the end of your turn or anything. It's just there. You don't have to move it.
And you can abuse it.
But see, they don't even need it to go. It doesn't matter if it goes away. It doesn't matter that it's a
You're
double power
already in.
action. It doesn't matter that they can keep replacing it. Once you get through that one time with your Alpha Strike, the game is over. Your chances of winning have went from 50-50 to 90-10.
Yeah, it would even be better with that. Isn't that new magic she can carry, but she has to give like.
She has to do 1 damage to them. or
See, it
something.
makes sense if that happened. Like if you went through the portal, you have to take 1 unavoidable damage. With
It's still-
either her or the person who.
It's still not helping though. They're still getting to do their huge swing
Right.
before anything negative happens.
There is a list of about 50 things that are minor they could have done to this power to make it balanced, and they didn't even. None of them went through.
Some things that will help though, and they're few and far between, and they're really old and not modern. Kingdom Come TA, and Hyper Time TA, which is essentially similar to Heimdall's trait, where they have to stop if they go within so many squares of you.
Ultimate Clayface.
Heimdall himself is one that helps, but if they pop the barrier and they're charging through, they're still. Let's read Heimdall real quick.
No, there's an orange answer on it. Because Heimdall's trait says if they come within 3 of him, the portal is technically placed within 3 of him, and the square they move into is considered.
No, yeah, but it's unless they began their movement. They're not beginning within 3 of him.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So they're going to have to stop.
They come out
but
the
if they
portal.
put the portal adjacent to him, then
There's
they just
still
go
gonna be the
through
charge.
and hit him. Yeah, they just charge, and then I stopped, but I'm right in your face, and I'm going to hit you.
And Heimdall's 169 points.
That's a big investment.
That's a huge investment. You're paying more than your opponent's trick to try to beat a trick. And that he's just not worth it for this.
Mastermind could help a little bit. At least help your main attacker not get hit that bad. Bystander tokens, surrounding your team with cheap bystander tokens where they at least have to go through one of your... You know what I mean? If you're playing a 150-point Superman and you pay 10 points each for a few bystander tokens, that actually... They still could get through the cracks. It'd take a lot of bystander tokens to stop this crap.
Sacrifice all the civilians.
Unspoken...
Pretty much like Man of Steel.
Unspoken would help, but he's a lot of points himself. So those are some ways to help against it, but really, none of them are an answer at all.
As I said,
Mastermind, they're going to go straight for your main attacker. What main attackers these days have Mastermind?
Not very many. Some jokers, but they don't dish out heavy damage.
I mean, really, protecting your main attacker, you'd need, Perplex, Prob?
It's going to take...
You'd have to be like, okay, I'm going to run into this person, let me make a team. Like, that's the problem I have with Justice League Team Base and Ghost Rider. It's like, now we're making teams to beat these teams, which I guess is always like a meta thing.
Yeah, but that's the problem with not Magic so much. Magic to a slight extent, but games that are dying out, like Yu-Gi-Oh! And some other games, is because they're power creep. And Magic is starting to do the same thing, and Clix does not need to do the same thing, or it will not live that long.
Right.
When people feel dissuaded and they feel bad after they leave, like they feel like they had a horrible time, they're not going to want to keep playing the game, especially new players.
If you feel like you didn't have a chance to even try,
yeah, exactly,
it ruins you.
Like what I got into Clix for is because I could be the Avengers. I could be, now it's like, well, now I have to make this ragtag team to beat this, Justice League Team Base or whatever.
Or I'm going to have a horrible time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's I like, you played that GCPD team that one time, and I was like, man, this team's fun. It was just cool to watch, like, you were like in free action. Yeah. And it was fun to watch that because I like when people are creative with their teams, and like when you guys were talking last week about the doing different events and stuff to gain to promote interest and stuff in the game. I remember doing our favorite comic book covers at CBU that one time, and I got to do Cap 600, and that was so fun because I had to think about it and like building that team. Well, not really. I just looked at the comic book cover and made a team, but it's that kind of stuff that interests me in the game. Not trying to build these like.
I think it interests most
killers.
people. I mean, especially us and the guys we hang out with. Right. We are in it for It's not that there's anything wrong with the game, but the main draw is the characters.
Yeah.
And the books that we read and their interactions and our love for them. It's not the actual game.
Yeah.
The game is just a nice side effect of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's not we play a game that happens to be comic book characters. It's we play with comic book characters that happen to be a game.
And that's the thing. Like, today when I played Lord of the Rings, even though I was building the team competitively for Gen Con, I built it because I built, like, this awesome, like, Sauron besieged team. Like, I picture that's how they would tear down a fortress and stuff. I was like, I want to build a team like this. And it's just, that's why we get into it. But I think what upsets me the most about this piece overall, just to sum it up and we can move on, I'm upset because it's a piece that could have been a really fun piece and became a broken piece instead.
Yeah, let's move on. They announced this, I saw this last week, but I didn't bring it up, but now they made an official announcement. We'll make a quick comment on it. They are creating a Superman Quick Start Kit. Essentially, it has a 2013 rulebook, no pack, But it does have one character of Superman and one character of Lex. They're each 100 points, and I'm looking at their dials, they're pretty balanced. They don't have any traits, they don't have any special powers. It just keeps it very simple, and it's basically a player can buy it and play with their friends, play their Superman against their friends Lex Luthor, and learn basically how the dice roll, how the powers work, which I think they should have put a PAC in this thing. I mean, I know the PAC is wordy and could maybe push new players away, but still, I think there should be a PAC in there if you want them to learn how to play the game.
The pieces themselves, though, the powers on their cards say what they do, but they're not exactly the same rules. They simplified them. So, like, there's a few of them that are a little different than how they would...
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but you're absolutely right, because look at Charge.
Move,
have
make an
speed,
attack.
and then make a close combat attack. You actually get a close combat action when you do Charge.
Yeah, they don't mention actions. They don't mention... I don't think they mention penetrating damage either on Pinsai on Lex.
I think they do.
Ignores damage reducing
never
powers.
mind. The other thing is these are purple ring figures. They're not legal in any set, or they're not legal in tournament settings.
Because they
wanted
said
players.
the power ability wrong.
Well,
not the main thing.
They said the reason they did it was so new players would be able to buy them, and old players wouldn't feel the need to collect.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
Oh, I love the idea. I think they should do it more often.
Another spoiler we got this week was Egghead, another figure from the Batman Classic TV. He also has a death trap. His bonus is equal to the number of distinct keywords possessed by the opposing characters on the map.
Oh, on the map?
On the map.
Oh,
opposing characters.
Yeah, but still, that's potential.
Yeah, that's pretty good bonus to his death trap. We already talked about how death trap works. His special ability is when he resolves a move action, place a crack token on his card, give him a free action.
Make the sound effect, Hunter.
I said crack.
No, you said crack.
Crack.
That is crack.
Give Egghead a free action and remove a crack token to use prop control. His damage ability gives him Outwit and Perplex, but when he does, he can't target characters who also have Outwit or Perplex. I like him. He's 55 points. He gives you all the big three, the Outwit, Perpin,
This
Prop.
man has crack tokens. That's all I gotta say on that.
Hands down crack.
His sculpt looks good. He's got like a little Hitler stash going.
Crack tokens would be perfect.
Crack
for
tokens. Phil's gonna bring Snowflame.
Play a crack.
Crack tokens.
Put him on an Egghead dial, and he'll get some crack tokens.
Oh, Lord.
And we already said the Death Trap ability, kind of a cool idea. It's a little wordy for my
I think it could have been done better.
but not a bad idea overall.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to note is Cerise. We did not talk about in our Wolverine the X-Men episode, and I just happened to notice her on HC Realms, and I wanted to talk about her because she is a boss.
She got posted when Figures.com opened up that brick and they showed the gold team.
She is the prime uncommon. She's the uncommon for Warbird. Wow. And you look at her dial, she has Running Shot, Psychic Blast, 17 with Reflexes, and a 3 with Enhancement, and basically keeps the same power set almost the whole time, but moves down. She has the Police TA 5 range. And her trait, at the beginning of your turn, choose one. Blades, Empower, or Energy Shield. So basically, you could have Energy Shield and Reflexes with the 17. She can use that until she chooses again. And you look at that, they're like, damn, that's a good figure. 60 points?
This
Are
woman...
you kidding me?
There's so many figures that require the police team ability or keyword, and they can do special effects. There's a few that do free actions and stuff. You could abuse the living crap out of this figure. Like, this is honestly my choice for best prime, like, possibly ever made so far.
That's
60 points!
Brother, she's better than Brother Voodoo.
Okay, sorry, I forgot about Brother Voodoo.
She's not better than
Take
Selena
it.
Kyle either. Everybody sleeps on
Selena
Selena Kyle.
Kyle?
Selena
Kyle's
Kyle's a
legit.
boss. She's never let me down. Never, ever let me down. And every time I've had to play against her, I fucking hate her guts.
She's my bottom bitch.
Also, do you want to talk about Batman Arkham Origins?
Okay, so they announced... applause, everybody! Another Batman set. They announced a video game set for the Batman Arkham Origins game that's coming up, and it's going to be a gravity feed featuring 21 characters, 9 commons, 7 uncommon, and 5 rares. It's going to be an exciting set. I mean, of course, it's more Batman, so everyone's like groaning on it, but Arkham's been a great series that I still haven't played, and you guys are going to make fun of me after I say that. But the character designs are great on it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing like a Deadshot and a Deathstroke. I'm sure we'll see a Black Hand.
We do need a new Deadshot bad.
It's going to be the typical like.
There is no modern Deadshot now.
Oh, there isn't?
75
Oh yeah, because
rotated out.
yeah, and the Deadshot design's awesome. You want to say something?
I'm definitely gonna buy the set because when I played this game, it took me back to when I was like a kid, waking up on Saturday mornings watching that cartoon
Man,
and hearing his voice. And now it's like I am Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're just like that game. Both of
this
Arkham,
one will be based on the third one.
Okay, the Arkham Asylum and City are just. I love them.
Isn't Black Mask the villain in Arkham Origins?
Yep.
There's a lot. It's going to be like City, where there's multiple. Deadshot's going to be
It's
one.
going to be
Or
about
Deathstroke is going to be
basically
one.
a group of assassins that are sent to kill Batman by Black Hand.
Yeah, whenever you first play the beginning of... I still remember when I very first played Arkham Asylum, and the very first opening scene where you're, taking the Joker in, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever done.
It is the best.
I was like having a Batman fan orgasm. I was
know.
just like, oh, this is
And
so...
Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
the
all the
one thing
voice
that
work is perfect.
Yeah.
It plays perfect.
The best character in those games is the Riddler. If I do not get a Riddler in this set, I
We
will cry.
haven't got a good Riddler in a while, have we?
It's
No, you got the
Arkham-
two excellent ones back to back, but that was it. In
But I
Arkham
mean, like
Asylum.
in modern right now, we
No.
don't have one.
Not even since Arkham Asylum, which is
We
a really old
really
set.
need a modern.
We need a modern. Yeah, they could do a cool Riddler in that. So.
Another thing that they revealed on Twitter with a kind of... Well, first of all, we already knew about the Mandarin rings, period.
Yay!
We knew they were going to exist. That for anybody who doesn't know about the
Awesome.
Mandarin rings, is
I'm
that
sorry, I'm so excited.
the Mandarin rings will be kind of... Did they say what the distribution is going to be?
They have still not stated distribution. We're probably not going to know until it's out.
Okay, so in the Invincible Iron Man set, which is supposed to be no super boosters, just the old school scheme of
No,
12
here.
or 10,
Yeah.
10 boosters to a
Vehicles.
brick, there will be random Mandarin rings, which will be placed in a booster, and I assume you get it instead of a figure. I don't know. They haven't really said that either. But there's the 10 rings, and you'll be pulling them from Iron Man boosters. They haven't said exactly how, the distribution, if they're going to take up a slot as one of your characters, what they're even going to be for. People are speculating it's going to be some sort of resource style, but they could just be for design or
in
a
the
relic
in the OP kit, there is a 3D object display.
display. Okay, so yeah, I'm
It
sure it
could
has
be a
something to do with
resource.
this.
Somebody said on the Greenwood page that it would be cool if you wore the rings and got a bonus when you played.
Everyone in the forums keeps
That-
saying that, but
that-
these are obvious. These
Well,
are production
right.
models.
But I think that would be. That would be clever.
Unless
Instead
you're a
of
guy
having
with 9 fingers, then what are you going to do? You're going to be weaker than the other guy now? You can't play all 10
Put it on your
rings?
toe, man. Toe rings are in. Well, they were.
So if you want to see the picture of the rings, go to
I don't want an
WizKids.
Neckbeard putting his foot up on the table, Ricky.
Go to Twitter WizKids Games. They spoiled 2 more Star Trek ships. Is there anything special you guys want to talk about on these?
I'll go ahead and go over them real quick. They're pretty simple. Basically, the bioships are a species that's very straightforward, and they're very anti-Borg. But they both have the same trait. They can use shape change, and they can't be targeted with NCAP, and they can't be given assimilation tokens.
Very nice.
Yeah, the first one has phasing teleport, running shot. He's a pretty straightforward ranged piece. Energy shield drops into RCE, and then the second one is more. I'd almost call it a tie-up piece in a way. It's phasing teleport. You can give him a free action to choose he's more of a support piece. You can modify attack or damage of an adjacent ship by 1 for each. Oh no, it pulls energy from surrounding ships. So you give him a free action, you choose attack or damage, and he gets +1 for each adjacent ship. So
He has Involved Mastermind too.
yeah, so it's kind of like a boss ship, so to say. So it charges from everybody and then fires a huge attack.
He also has shape change and cannot be given assimilation tokens. So they're good counters to the Borg, because that Borg team ability is very good.
I would like to say though, we did figure out this week through Alliance and Diamond the price hike that was supposed to be happening to shift up to $7 per booster on the Star Trek we're pretty sure it's nullified now. There's been no statement from WizKids on it, but they're all reporting $5, so same price it was for the last 2
I had
seasons.
heard the same thing also. And a lot of, we don't play Star Trek clicks ourselves, but
That price boost
We
was
know a
gonna throw
couple
me out of
people
it.
who play them. Yeah, you were thinking about getting into it, and then they announced that they were raising the price, and you were like, eh. And
Yeah, I
then
know.
the couple guys that we do know that play them were like pissed
They were mad.
that they raised it because it was already pretty expensive as it was.
Yeah, $5 a figure already.
So good rumor going around to all the Star Trek fans that the price is supposedly supposed to go down.
Since Disney bought.
No, we're not getting Star Wars one. Shut up.
I want to so bad.
Shut up, Ricky.
All
Never
right,
coming back to this podcast.
that sums up the news for this week. Let's move into the main topic. What DC sets do we think? What do we think they will put as a main set, and what do we want to see as a main set?
Well,
Batman.
Shut up.
obviously, the answer is cancel New 52 comics.
No.
No.
I'm enjoying every New 52 that I shouldn't say that because there's quite
You're
a few I'm not
saying
liking.
the canceled ones?
Yeah, just the canceled one.
Oh, you want a
okay, then.
set with all the new?
Dude, I would
52
kill for some
canceled.
Blackhawks figures. There could be some fun ones from there.
I do think going on the new 52 thing, they gave us a nice little
Counter
limited set. Had awesome
Yeah.
pieces in it. I've played them a million times, and the sculpts were amazing. It wouldn't be. We should just get a new 52 set.
I agree.
There needs to be more villains. There weren't that many villains in that set. There's not a whole lot of recent DC villains. Period.
I want to see them take the is it the Throne of Atlantis little mini event between Aquaman
Yeah.
and JL?
Yes.
They could do. I think they could pull a good set out of there with some more new Atlantean generics, a bunch of Atlantean characters like Black Manta and stuff. Kind of make it an Aquaman JL 52
I
set.
think that could be a valid.
CTD or something
What are they called?
event.
Sub-say.
That gave me
Sub-theme.
That gave me a good idea for an event, actually. For those of you who read like the new 52 Aquaman, like he's collecting like the artifacts and stuff. You could do a resource where you're collecting all the artifacts. But I think me, Drew, and Hunter are on the same page here for both what we think the next event set and the next set needs to be, and that is a Flash set with a Shazam sub theme. Is there any disagreement here on that one?
I agree, but I want Wonder Woman clicks too.
That's true.
There's actually, there's just generic Amazons.
Yeah.
There's one Queen Hippolyta, and she's a LE that costs $1 bajillion to get. Like, they need to do a couple more Amazons. Queen. They need to do New 52 Wonder Woman, period. That's the best
True.
DC book, in my opinion. Well, that and Batman.
I'd like that Ares.
And they need to just do all of those
Yeah,
pieces.
but there isn't a good DC Ares, is there?
DC Ares, yes, but he's not modern. The
Yeah.
one with the huge sword. I
What
played
about
against
you,
him.
Ricky? What do you think?
Well, I just recently watched the Flashpoint Paradox, but no, I think that would be I know they did that a little bit in.
Superman. Super rares.
Yeah.
A Flashpoint set?
Yeah, I think that would be all right, but also I think would maybe for the event would be like Tower of Babel.
They could do Tower of Babel.
It would be kind of tough because it would be like because. Well, I haven't read the book. In the book? It's Ra's al Ghul, right?
Yes, he's the one caused behind the scenes. Yeah.
Okay, and then in the movie, I know it's called Doomsday, the movie, but it's not Doomsday who's behind it. But I can't remember.
I don't think I've seen Is it the Secret Society as a whole that's doing it, or is it Vandal Savage?
Remember?
You can't remember. Yeah, it is a good event, and it is. Back in the day, it was one of the big events.
I think it would be cool to have obviously you'd have the the usual suspects, but instead of have the 6-month prizes be the people you have to beat, you know how they're going through beating people the way Batman would beat them.
Oh,
Take them
yeah.
out.
You're talking to. Is that Tower of Babel? Maybe I'm getting too confused.
I might. I'm not.
I know.
I don't know.
I know the event you're talking about.
Right.
The thing is, Batman has a contingency plan for every member of the Justice League.
Yeah.
I think it's Vandal Savage. I think it's Vandal and the Secret Society.
Okay.
And they find out about it. They get in the Batcave. They get all his plans, and they act that out.
Is this a plot line that happens frequently? Because I'm beginning to see this happening in a lot.
No, this was a huge one. You probably heard other people talk about it before.
No, I mean,
and-
people getting in the Batcave and stealing his contingency plan seems to happen.
Basically, they implement the plans on each of those members, and it works to a T. and they start to fight with each other because they're like, Batman, how could you do that? Like, why would you even have these in the first place? And he's like, well, you never know when Superman's gonna freaking turn crazy.
And then, like, he has a suitcase of
kryptonite and
right, but
other
he gives
stuff.
one to Superman that's empty, and Superman opens it, and he's like, "You're the one who's gonna take me out."
It is one of the best
Yeah.
DC books, period. But yeah, that could be a cool event.
I think the event, honestly, if I was going to work at WizKids and I thought the one that could bring in the most people to everything, do a War of the Light, because Blackest Night and Brightest Day is already taken by 2 sets.
No,
name-wise.
War of the Light sucks though.
But
It's
War
not
of the
a
Light's the general term for all of it, isn't it?
not well, yeah, I guess, but just do Brightest Day is not an actual event. Brightest Day is kind
the
of
sum up of
It's
it.
like status quo. Right?
Yeah.
It's like the new
Remember when Marvel did Heroic Age?
right after.
It's
Yeah.
like that. It's just a theme for
Okay.
the books that come out
I'm
after
just
that.
saying for a name part of it.
If they want to do an event like No Man's Land, it was an actual event, and the maps you played on were actual places that took place. The LEs were actual characters that were specific to the story.
Yeah.
Same with Fear itself. They
Well,
would need to do just Blackest Night.
But what I'm saying is, like, they could just call it that and run Blackest Night as the event mostly.
Yeah, I mean,
And
yeah,
it would be-
I
you
see
aim
you're
with, like,
saying
a-
have like a War of Light set and then Blackest Night event.
Well, like Blackest or War of the Light would be the name of the event set, and just call it that or whatever. But it would mostly be Blackest Night.
So you're wanting it like Fear itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
a limited
It's
set.
A limited
Okay.
set.
Yeah, that's what I would like too.
I feel DC's kind of backing themselves in a corner here because they're running out of options. Marvel has a lot more,
Well, Trinity War's just coming.
Yeah, Trinity War would be a decent choice. You could align with the 3 different factions and do all that jazz
true.
or whatever, but
Plus, a lot of people, that con of the Phantom Stranger,
The Trinity.
Trinity of Sin. A lot of people. Some people might not be able to get that at Gen Con or at the other convention. So it'd be kind of cool to have them different, but
Another
printed.
setup.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a Trinity War CTD within the next year or two.
it's a strong possibility. But I have a feeling the next event is probably going to be something involving Blackest Night.
It needs to be. That's the obvious choice. It's the fun choice.
There's
it's
a
the
ton
one that's
of
gonna get
colored
people
lanterns.
in. There's Bleeze. There's like you can sit and name off like 5 main characters of each Lantern Corps that has never been clicks. There's plenty of options there. You wouldn't be all Green Lanterns.
And it would be like the gangs from No Man's Land.
Yeah,
could just
you
have
could
a full
have
gang.
factions.
See, yeah, that you
And
guys
call
are right.
that,
That'd be perfect.
yeah, and then like what I was saying is it would be cool to have a resource dial where like you have the rings on it and it's like the Book of the Skulls. You drop the rings to people on your thing, and you could put like a power battery in the middle and it powers up rings of that color. But you could play any colors you want. So you could play like 8 red rings and a red power battery and just run a Red Lantern Corps kind of team. It'd be very thematic. It'd be very fun. I could see a lot of cool stuff out of it. But the one thing that people kind of pigeonhole themselves in when you hear like Blackest Night, you think, oh, it's a Green Lantern event. No, Blackest Night, there's
It's
6,
every
7, 8 corps.
character, every DC character is
Yeah,
involved in it
it's
in some
huge.
way.
And there's so many different possibilities. And a Necron Colossal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
or a new Anti-Monitor. I would like a new Anti-Monitor.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
As long as I get rage kit.
Parallax. A Parallax
So
Colossal.
my idea for the if they did a resource for it was similar to Austin's with the rings, but I would do it kind of like a Book of the Skulls. There would be one of each ring, and they would all grant you a certain power, but you can only play one of each, like the Book of the Skulls. So you couldn't play all green rings.
Aw.
You had to play one of each maximum. You'd pay 5 points for each one, just like the hammers. But they would all just give one character a specific power. And I would have green giving willpower, red giving battle fury and super strength, yellow giving exploit weakness, black regen, white steel energy. If they want to do black and white at all, they could just do the basic
Yeah.
colors. Indigo could be support because they're the healer, the healing
Yeah.
guys. Blue, I didn't know. I kind of wanted to give them support, but then I was like,
Enhancement.
Indigo's really that. I ended up giving them prop control.
Well, like, enhancement fits them because they power up green rings anyway.
I
mean,
guess,
I know it doesn't
yeah, but
fit the
enhancement's
rest,
not worth. I
Enhancement
don't know.
power, maybe.
I guess it could be enhancement
But if
and
it's like
something
the
else.
hammers, it could be like multiple things. You could give them a modification to a stat and a power.
What? Oh, how about enhance plus empower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that'd be worth it. Orange, I was gonna give them. They get 2 perplexes, but they
can only
can't.
target themselves.
They can only target themselves, and they can't put them both on the same combat value to make it fair. So I can't do like +2 damage. Violet was, I was going to give them barrier, but five or six barriers, and that represents their crystal powers, because they were kind of the hardest one for me to come up with the power for. But their crystals, I was like, we could do barrier. But to make it worth the points, make it 6, or indestructible or something like that. Something like Tarot or Bunker's power. And then every time that you have a ring on somebody, after that turn, you just turn once. And you turn once for every character who has a ring. And it very slowly builds up. And all it does is give +1s. And it'll give it to everybody who has a ring, but it's not like Book of the Skull where you're gonna go through it real fast. This is gonna take you like 6-7 turns before you can get the +1.
Yeah.
Then like 4 or 5 turns before you get the +2. So by the time it gets redonkulous, the game's pretty much already over anyway. So it's not really, really super good.
I think honestly that's probably the best bet. Like if I was WizKids and I was trying to bring people into the stores, as I said, it would be a Green Lantern based event like that. I definitely think a Flash set and a Green Lantern event are the two most likely. Because Flash Rogues, where's our Captain Cold?
Yeah, this is
right up Drew's alley.
Yeah, man, just bring on the Flash.
Bring them on. You could do a whole set. Everybody knows Green Lantern and Flash are like best buds kind of in DC, if you read either one of those books. And they could just do a set with both of them in it.
Yeah.
I mean, either one of them can support their own set, but I don't think people want a whole lot of Green Lantern. That, like Phil said, people don't want a Green Lantern only set.
Yeah.
You need to do all the Lantern Corps if you're going to do a set.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is it's like, you can handle like an Avenger or Justice League 6. They're very varied. But with just Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps, you don't get too much real variance there.
And we've already gotten a lot of them anyway. I mean, some of them are rotating out of Modern.
We've got a ton of
but you
Hals,
still have a
we've got
very
Guy.
good Hal and a very good Guy right now. And that's all you really need.
I want to see the new Green Lantern. Like what's his name? He's on the JLA now.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Jon Stewart?
No. Not,
well, he said he was on JLA, so...
When he says new, he means really new. The newest one, the Middle Eastern guy. What's his name?
I have no idea.
Anyway, everybody knows who we're talking about.
He carries a gun on him.
Anybody else have any ideas for events or for the main point, like the resource?
I think...
A Fall of the Bat event where you collect like a utility.
And you can't play Batman.
You can't play Batman.
Some people have been speculating like a Forever Evil event to tie in with DC's event that's about to start in comics would be kind of cool.
I got it.
But I don't...
Every man's land.
everyone
Well,
just shows up and gets
you
it.
were saying that DC doesn't have as many options as Marvel as far as events to do, but would you ever have thought that they could do a good event for No Man's Land? Because I wouldn't have thought it, but it turned out really well.
It did.
The maps, everything's from the comics. The characters are all major parts in the comics.
Think of this too. I mean, like you gotta take into account. There's a lot of possibilities. You can turn a resource out of anything. You could make a Superman based event,
and it doesn't even have to be a
Fortress of
resource.
Solitude resource. Yeah, they don't even have to do a resource.
They could come up. Actually, I would rather not see a resource. I mean, we have enough resources. It's a cool idea. We have enough options. Let's move on to some cooler things and don't make them better than resources. They don't have to be that good. Just interesting.
As I said, I would like to see more Book of the Skull style ones where like they make you play a large team and you have to build around.
Let's move away from Alpha Strikes a little bit, at least. Let's move into the Just the Tip. Just the Tip. This week is going to be ordering your free actions.
This is one of my favorites.
This is a simple.
I did this today.
It's a pretty simple one, but it's one that people don't think about when team building. Whenever I was thinking of my team build for the Wednesday event, I was thinking of an idea, and it kind of led me to reminding people about this. One simple way to take advantage of free actions at the beginning. Remember, free actions that say they happen at the beginning of your turn, like poison or some other special abilities, that just means before you take any other power action or any other non-free action. So you can still do Outwit and Perplex and anything else that says it's a free action before you do that, as long as you haven't taken a non-free action yet. So that, and a very simple example of this is if you have somebody with Outwit and somebody with poison, even though poison says it happens at the beginning of your turn, Outwit is still a free action. Poison is still a free action. You can choose to use your Outwit before you choose for the poison to kick
Because
in.
beginning of the turn is anything before the first power action.
Yes, that's what I just said.
Yeah, sorry. But I was going to say, this is a really good tip because we're walking right into how much sidestep? A ton.
Yeah, and that's kind of part of why I wanted to talk about this. We already talked about how good Perplex or Poison and Sidestep's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is if you have somebody like the guy we call Free Swing Thor, which is a AVM 020 Thor, where at the beginning of the turn, if he's adjacent to a character less than so much or whatever, you get a free swing on him. Use a Perplex before you do that. You don't have to do that as soon as your turn begins. You can use some Perplexes in there. Or if you have some kind of free movement with one of your guys, you can move them in line to prob or whatever.
I just realized, remember how we talked about using the gauntlet to pick powers? Remember how we had so much trouble with Aaron having gauntlet on that free swing Thor? He could pick sidestep now, and then sidestep and smack someone else.
No, well, yeah, as long as he starts adjacent to somebody, though.
Yeah.
Because I was when I was writing this up, I was reading his power, and I thought maybe he could start away from a character, and then you carry him in with the Iron Man drone who gets to move for free.
Mm-hmm.
You carry him in, and then does he get to do it? No, it says at the beginning of your turn, he has to be already adjacent.
I didn't even think about the Iron Man drones. You can escape poison that way. You could do...
Yeah, so a cool one I thought about is playing Iron Man drones and Cheap Tony, or even if you just want to run Iron Man, and then running Poisoners. They get free moves. You can just free move your poison guys into wherever they're needed and drop them down and then activate poison.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of different combinations that you can do like that. So as long as it says free action, you can, choose what order works to your benefit.
Honestly, Outwit Poison is a very common one, though. That's one thing people need to try to remember. Like, I got so much damage out of that today in a few of my games where, like, oh, well, I've got toughness. Oh, well, I don't care. I've got a giant with a good Outwit.
Yep.
Let's move into the community section. We've got a lot to talk about, as we typically do. The big announcement is that the month 1 dial contest is officially over. Week 3 is going to be graded right now by Drew.
Hi.
Who's this Drew fella?
Whenever we
Sounds suspicious.
did weeks 1 and 2, we had, 3 submissions on each of those, I think, guys? 3 submissions each.
Yeah. Around there.
We already gave our scores for those. I think We Are Venom got the top score on both of those, didn't he?
I believe so.
But the other ones were very close behind, so it's a very close race right now. And Drew is going to give. Now, what was your assignment again, Drew?
Either any of the new Superior Foes of Spider-Man, so Boomerang, Shocker, Speed Demon, Overdrive, Beetle, and any Flash Rogue. Anyone.
And we got how many submissions? 3?
Yeah, we did.
And they were the same. Actually,
No, they were very diverse.
Savage
actually.
Hulk did not submit one, so we got a new guy who gave Captain Cold this week. Which one did you give the top grade this week?
The new guy who did the Captain Cold. I felt it was very well balanced. His point cost was, 140 is good. I feel like Captain Cold's a big enough threat to be 140. His powers, it's a bit wordy, his trait. When Captain Cold has 1 or more action tokens and an opposing character moves into an adjacent square, roll a d6. On a result of 1, continue their action normally. On a result of 2 to 6, their action resolves immediately. But on a result of 4 to 6, give them an additional action token if applicable. And on a result of 6, after all actions resolve, deal them unavoidable damage equal to the number of action tokens on them. That's ridiculous.
It's really good, but it's not broken.
Yeah, it's balanced.
It's not as big as Heimdall's effect, but it's actually better.
Yeah.
Because if they're charging, they're not going to get to attack afterwards because it
stops
says
their movement.
I feel like this is...
stop the action, not the move.
I feel like this is perfect because Captain Cold, it slows down hypersonic, but it only slows down hypersonic that doesn't have a range. Who's a hypersonic that doesn't have range?
Maybe this Flash guy.
Flash.
Yeah, Flash.
Save us all.
Defense.
it's pretty good. His defense, he can use energy shield, deflection, which is good, toughness, and barrier. See, now that's perfect. That's amazing.
Definitely needs barrier, yeah.
Definitely needs barrier.
What about that second part there, Drewster?
Well, if you let me finish, Austin, I might throw that out there.
What a dick.
I know. Friggin' guys.
You got your turn last week, Austin.
I'm just saying.
Give the man in the spotlight.
I'm sorry.
Let me talk for once. Jeez.
It's okay, guys.
When he has no action tokens, he can use barrier as a free action and place up to 3 terrain tokens. So that's really good. Free action barrier is always good. Like, I don't care who you are.
ESD toughness is good.
His damage ability is very good, and I think that if there were a Flash set coming up, and WizKids were looking for inspiration from a Captain Cold, they should maybe use something like this, where he can use Leadership Perplex and modifies his adjacent friendly character's defenses by +1 when attacked by a character with a speed value of 12 or more.
That's very flavorful. Although
Yeah.
I think it should be more like 10 or more, because some of the cheaper flashes and kid flashes are only
Yeah,
like a 10, 9 or 10.
Screw you, Kid Flash.
His attack ability is also specific against speedsters.
Is that he can use when he hits an opposing character with an attack, instead of dealing damage or applying tokens, you modify the character's speed value by -2 for the remainder of the game and counter their speed power until your next turn. This may only apply once per character per game, which is pretty damn good, in my opinion.
I liked this one the best too. We also got a Heat Wave, which was very good, and that was from We Are Venom, and that was based around the Rogue's Revenge. And then you got one Spidey foe, right?
Yeah, I got Boomerang, which I really liked.
I liked it too, but I thought that trait was almost too good
It's
for his points.
Yeah, he's only 87, and he gets all these options that are pretty damn good.
I'm waiting until we get a Hawkeye that's like that.
Blades, claws, fangs at a range.
Yeah, because Hawkeyes need to be better, Austin.
I'm
Yeah,
not saying they
seriously.
do. I'm just saying it'd be cool to get a Hawkeye that could choose Trick Arrow.
Going back to when we first started playing Heroclix, that's the first character that actually started getting me salty. It was that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Gee, wonder what guy in
Especially-
this room used to play that Hawkeye frequently.
Especially when we didn't know how elevation worked. So I was just sitting back in that corner in that castle with the fast horses from Chaos War. Just sitting in the back corner raining down arrows.
I was like, this can't be right. This is too good.
What do you mean this bastard has stealth and 10 range, 3 bolts and RC?
So what's your grades here,
Hey, he's
Drewster?
got leadership.
I gave Swagnito an 8. I really liked your dial.
All of Swagnito's dials were very good, Swagnito.
They're all
Thank you very
solid.
much.
Thank you. I feel bad. I love you, Swagnito.
So you said the new guy gets the best score?
He gets a 9.
Zombie Face.
Yep, Zombie Face, congratulations.
Hope to see you in future dial designs
'Cause-
if this one is any indication.
You might be just a huge Captain Cold fan like me. I don't know.
And then We Are Venom, who got 9s on the first 2 weeks. What do you give his Heat Wave? Giving him an 8.
I liked it. I mean, it had a lot of flavor to it, and it was from a specific storyline.
So if We Are Venom gets an 8, that puts him at 9 plus 9 plus 8. So that puts him at a 26. And puts Swagnito at an 8 plus 8 plus 9, so it's a 25. So We Are Venom won by 1 point, very close. And Savage Hulk, if he would have submitted one, would have been very close as well. Thanks, period, for all the entries, but I will contact you, We Are Venom, through a PM on HC Realms, and we'll get you your custom tokens made. And
They don't get Venom icons on them.
I'm assuming it's going to be Venom, but maybe it's something else. And we will get that sorted out, and I'll get them shipped to you, made and shipped to you, hopefully before Gen Con. I can get them done. Speaking of which, we're not going to be recording next. You will not get a podcast on Sunday because we will be at Gen Con. We may try to just do a quick one on Monday or Tuesday, just a quick and dirty recap. Nothing.
Quick and dirty.
Just a quickie. Just a quickie, not
Is
even.
that what we're gonna call the just the tip?
Not
that
even
week?
just the tip. We're just diving right into the main stuff. No teasing, no warm up. We may do that on like a Monday or a Tuesday. I'll probably get it up
Tuesday.
on
We're gonna be
Tuesday.
dead Monday.
Yeah, we're gonna be wore out, but I don't want to do nothing. I want to try to stay as consistent as we can.
I want to talk about how salty I am at everybody I played against at Gen Con.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then starting with that Sunday afterwards, we'll be back on our regular schedule. So, as far as dial design contest, before we get off of that topic, next week, like we said, there won't be a podcast. We won't be giving out any assignments next week. It'll be the week after that. We'll start month 2. I'll start a completely new thread on HC Realms, and I will link that thread in the podcast description of when we give the first assignment out.
People make a Wonder Twins dial, right?
I have an idea for my first assignment, but I'm not going to say. I don't want people to get a 2-week head start on it, so I won't say anything.
I want an Avenger.
That really limits your options. Kenzilla gave us yet another build. He's been giving us some pretty good ones. And honestly, I need to be writing all these down for possible events we could do. Especially this one. I really liked this one.
I really like this one too.
His build challenge is build a 400-point Silver Age team. And on your team, you get to choose a king. The king must be, I think it was under 100. I don't think it was 100 and under. The king gets willpower, charge, exploit weakness, and super senses. I think it can't be outwitted, and I think it's permanent, like their whole dial. When you kill an opponent's king, you get double points. What? Austin, you said Austin's so excited. He thinks he has this absolutely stupid idea, so we'll let him go first.
Okay. So, one of Hunter's favorite pieces ever. You want to tell everyone what your favorite piece ever is? The one that you hate more than any other piece, really? Because it defies game rules?
Because it defies game rules?
Yes.
Spiral?
Kid Flash, Smoky Foot Cap,
And there we go.
and Justice League Team Base.
Smoky Foot Cap. Now,
I'm on board.
This sucker's already hard to hit. He's got a really good energy shield. He ignores blocking terrain on his swing and all that stuff. He's got running.
He ignores everything.
Oh, he ignores everything except walls and indoor blocking or something like that. So I was like, he's under 100 points. He'd be a great king choice. Super senses plus his energy shield already. You give him charge exploit if they get in close.
He doesn't have willpower.
He doesn't have willpower, yeah. So I chose him as my king, and I thought I'd build a traditional Avengers tent pole. I went with the 50-point Scarlet Witch, of course, and Morgan Le Fay to buff the crap out of him. And then I went with 125, we call him the Relic Buster Iron Man, the one with the trait that stops other relics and resources.
Yeah.
And then a Book of the Skulls with 4 hammers, because, we really need to give that guy toughness on top of energy shield and super senses.
That sounds really dumb, team. Like, jeez.
I know. It's just...
If you lose to that team, you're a horrible player. I was going to say that.
When I built that team, I was like, as soon as I picked him as my king, I already had 15 ideas in my head. And as soon as I hammered that down, no pun intended, I was like, man, this is going to be a great team.
Drew, what do you got, buddy?
I didn't really get to build one because I was so busy getting ready for Gen Con.
This guy's such a... we want to hear your excuses. Ricky, what do you got?
I built 2 variations of an Avengers team. I actually talked to you about it, and you said you were using Smoky Foot, and then I thought of another cap that doesn't have willpower, and it's the Tab app. And he gives adjacent friendlies that are lower point value than him energy shield.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to use him and have that Falcon from Cap set pick him up, carry him around. He's going to be my king, though, the Tab app cap. Then I was going to use the Bucky cap from Fear Itself.
Yeah,
because I haven't used him yet. And plus, if he dies, and I was going to try to push him out front, because if he dies, then that cap gets, I think, +1 to
all his combat.
+1 to
speed.
all.
Yeah,
isn't it?
+1 to all of his, yeah. And then a 50-point Scarlet Witch, and then I had enough points left. It's 400, right?
Yes.
Okay, I had enough points for Weapon X from the Marvel 10th anniversary, and then a Book of Skulls with 3 hammers.
That cap is really good, the one from the Blitzkrieg.
Yeah,
and so is the Skady or Scotty. How do you guys say it?
It's pronounced Scotty. Me and Aaron looked it up.
I was going to say, I always say Scotty, but everybody else says Skady.
I thought it was Skady for the longest time, and it is actually pronounced Scotty.
Okay.
It's just when it's written.
I've actually wanted to talk about that because it's so amazing how they put those, the way the dials were designed. Scotty's so big, and Cap is just so small, and I think that just describes the entirety of Fear itself perfectly.
Yeah, but she needs to be giant.
She's one big bitch, Hunter Smith.
No, I mean the symbol.
The figure needs to be giant.
She needs to be giant.
Yeah,
well, it's kind of weird because
it's one of those things. Pacific Rim clicks are colossals, but they're Scotty is bigger than her.
But Scotty in the Fear Itself books wasn't that... Like, she was bigger.
She was when she gets power. Yeah, because she has the suit
But
thing.
she wasn't, like, giant. She was just, like, taller than a person.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean...
But then again, I guess Noel's a
They
giant
made her
and some of the
sculpt-
others aren't.
They made her sculpt a little
the
too
cap
big.
was really little.
Yeah, that's
Poor little
It's real-
Bucky
it's
cap.
real tiny.
They're both sitting on my desk, though, and I was looking at that cap the other day, and I was trying to come up with some
But
thoughts.
It's a
That's
good representation of Bucky as well, especially during that storyline as
Yeah,
well.
it's even like I would warrant to say, minus of course the on death buff of Cap. He's a good representation of Cap overall, like the powers.
Yeah,
and everything.
and it works well with all the other Avengers movies pieces that are all the death of Cap,
Yeah.
buffs.
Yeah.
There's going to be some dumb combos there. I went with an old favorite, Hammer of Thor Venom,
Oh god.
as my king because he can benefit a lot from all of the things that the king gets. He doesn't have willpower, he doesn't have charge or exploit. He doesn't really have any way of attacking hardly at all. He does get flurry late dial. So he can benefit from willpower, charge and exploit weakness, and full dial super senses. If you never played against this Venom, the key thing
We're
about
lucky
him
and blessed.
the key thing about him is he's hard to kill. He has the first 4 clicks are plasticity, blades, super senses, and shape change. And the last 4 are flurry, steel energy, reflexes, and battle fury.
The bastard won't die.
So he's
Hate him.
he's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, tie-up piece. And giving him super senses full dial plus the he has plasticity. He's going to be breaking away. He has willpower. Basically, whichever one of your guys looks like they're paced up to attack, I'm just going to break away and go bother them for a while.
Breakaway charge.
Breakaway, charge,
Charge,
exploit. So I thought that was a good piece to put him on. And then not only is he dumb enough like that, but I also was going to use Arwen with him. Just to strict...
Why?
no,
Not
stop,
even to
please.
use... Not
Hunter,
even,
shut up. We're going on with the podcast.
No.
Next thing. I don't even want to hear the
She
rest of
says
this team.
I'm going to give him the 18 defense from her defend and
Oh, I'm
to
sorry,
carry him
Hunter. I didn't know
around.
you were building a ridiculous, like...
And then the rest of my team is just some Wolverine and the X-Men pieces that I'm excited to try. The number 1 Wolverine from the set who has charge and blades with 12 attack. And the Jubilee, the regular one that plays off of him, the trait where she gets, they each get +1 attack. So that Wolverine's going to be a 13 attack value. And she has Perplex also.
Did you also put a Book of the Skulls on it?
No, I put a belt on Venom and Thunderbolts on Venom to give him Mystics. So
Of course.
you're hitting him and then he's Steel Energy back up.
Of course.
And to buff his combat values.
I would have put Gauntlet on him and just kept running in
So
circles.
with the defend plus the reflexes plus the pluses from the belt, he's going to be a 21 at like all times with
That's-
super senses and shape change
Yeah, I
and
would-
mystics.
That's how I imagine. I like that dial because that's if I was fighting Venom.
I
Yeah.
imagine he'd just be,
I
like,
imagine
surrounding
like
you.
it'd be
It's Mark Dragon as
It's
possible to
Scorpion,
hit.
right?
you
Matt
know?
Gargan.
That, sorry, got it backwards.
I didn't make a team, but I can tell you who my king would be, and I guarantee you guys can guess this.
Leech.
No. Guess. I want you to guess.
Does his...
Hawkeye.
No.
Dang it.
That would be a good one.
15-point
Well, he's got willpower.
thug.
My God, Hunter, are you just psychic or something? No, it's Sabretooth.
Oh,
God.
Sabretooth.
Hurry, Hunter, go on with the podcast.
the other piece on my team was Longshot. I'm really looking forward to playing him too.
Oh, you would be.
He's a boss, man.
I know he is.
Because
He's
Hunter
really
can't
good.
ever roll
And
crits
because-
because he has no luck.
Yeah, that's true. That's the only way I'm ever going to roll a crit.
Hey, I don't want to hear shit. I rolled 3 crit misses in a
Yeah,
row.
Drew had a bad day today.
It was
rolling.
not good.
It's okay, pat Drew on the back. There we go.
Also, because I've been reading X Factor, and he's one of the main. That book's so good,
I need to read
very underrated. Let's move on to our questions. We have one from Cosmic Pancakes. He
This is
is
the most awesome username ever.
he's one of the main contributors on Reddit Clicks
Oh, yeah?
or Clicks Reddit
Clicks.
subreddit. He wants to know what our feelings are on Wolverine and the X-Men as a whole, and are we excited about the Invincible Iron Man set? Of course, Austin's excited. We're not even going to talk to him over there. We are all very excited about Wolverine and the X-Men, I think it's safe to say. I think this is going to be the biggest selling set that they've had for probably ever.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there's a lot of people I've seen that are complaining because it's a Wolverine set and it doesn't have like a ton of Wolverines in it. They were
Why is that a bad thing?
I don't.
Yeah.
Kind of Wolverine,
People were kind of wanting like an Incredible Hulk style where like all the SRs are various Wolverines, which would be cool, kind of. But I think at this point, to be blunt, we're all kind of tired of Wolverine, even before the set rolled around.
I'm not tired of them, but they have enough variations of it. You have X-Force Wolverine, you have Horseman Wolverine, you have Fantastic Four Wolverine, you have
Old Man
Logan coming out. You have enough variations.
I like this set, though, because there's a lot of characters I've never seen in Clicks.
You have Weapon X Wolverine that Ricky was just talking about.
There's a ton of characters that have never been Clicked. There's some really fun and weird powers, kind of like how Teen Titans had. Where, like, there's a lot of unique things you could build around, some fun stuff. Like, even that long shot, he's simple, but he's fun.
The team bases, even though I don't like the mechanics of team bases, the
cool.
sculpts look awesome. None of them look stupid good, although we haven't seen all of them yet.
I can't wait for the Hellfire Club.
I want to play this year.
I'm pretty excited for this set, and if Gen Con wasn't next week, I'd probably buy like 2 cases.
Yeah.
So I'm just 1 case.
Just a case and a half.
I think it'll be the biggest set, biggest selling set.
Definitely.
Invincible Iron Man.
I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I just want to see how
my pants are off right now.
I want to see what they do with it. Like I don't like. I like the Iron Man 3, but I know you really like. I know you really like.
Next words.
I know you like different variations of the armor, but I don't want a ton of just Iron Man. You know, like I want like some good villains we haven't had, like Absorbing Man, which I'm gonna guess we're gonna get.
A Mandarin that's actually the real Mandarin and not the movie Mandarin would be cool too.
But like, okay, I don't want a ton of Iron Mans in the set. Like, I love his rogues, and they really haven't been clicked much since like Armor Wars. But I do. My one big hope is that they go 8 chases like Spidey did, and they do a bunch of different armor sets.
I really hope they don't.
But what else are they gonna do for the chases?
I don't know, but I'm just.
I just want, like, I want a new Hulkbuster and I want a new Thorbuster, because Thorbuster's old. It costs like $110 in some places, and then like Hulkbuster it's aged. I would like to see some cool ones, maybe a really awesome, like, I don't want to say a morph mechanic, but something like that.
If they did that, I'd rather them be like super rares or something. Like do a couple variations in a super rare spot, and then have chases. Something else.
But that's why I'd like to see like 8 chases. Because you do 4 like that, and then you do 4 of like other Tony Starks or something.
Then we're just getting another Spider-Man. I think they're probably going to settle on 6.
Well,
for some reason, didn't Spider-Man not sell as well as I thought it would?
As far as I know, it sold really well.
Okay.
Yeah. At least at our venues, it has.
Right. I've bought so much Spider-Man.
Yeah, I've bought way too much.
Yeah, I saw some people on the forums talking about how it was like disappointing. Maybe the set was disappointing.
They wanted a Web of Spider-Man too, and instead it was more like Spider-Man and his mystical buddies, because
I really liked
which I liked.
Yeah, I
we
did
got
too.
A really good Moon Knight.
You still got a Scarlet, you still got a Spider-Girl, you still got Madam Web, which everybody had been wanting for a long time.
Flash Thompson Venom is the only thing.
Yeah.
Man-Thing and Howard the Duck.
I want a Madam Web that's her when she's
like,
who's the new Madam Web or whatever that's like actually up and walking around the trench coat.
I honestly don't know.
Oh man, I want her. She'd be pretty sweet if they did her right.
Once again, on the topic of trench coats.
Yeah. I think we're going to come back to that topic.
Sabretooth in a trench coat prime for Wolverine and the X-Men somehow. Give it to me.
Alright, so we've been talking about a new... I've been talking on Twitter and on Reddit about a new theme that we're going to do every week, and it's a community question. And it's a question that I give, not really a poll. They won't all be like poll answers. This one kind of a little bit is. This week the question was, what is your number one already confirmed, like not number one wish that they would make in the Wolverine X-Men set, but number one figure that you already know is going to be in it that you want the most?
I'll give you 3 guesses.
I'm not talking to you guys. This was for the community, Austin.
Screw
You're not the community. No, go ahead. You can say yours.
Gambit!
Yeah.
I mean, that Gambit is perfect.
I already knew you were going to say Gambit, so I wasn't even going to ask you. Drew?
You know what I want.
Sabretooth?
Sabretooth?
Silver Samurai. I went over this before.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Ricky, what did no. Oh, yeah, he's in it. He's in it. My bad. I was going to say he's not in it. We forgot. We found him.
Yeah.
I wanted to have it with Avengers keyword, but I'm not going to get it.
Yeah, I was very surprised whenever he didn't have it.
Oh no, there's fewer Avengers than
well, I wanted to run a
Uncanny Avengers.
Yeah.
I fully understand.
Yeah.
Mine would probably be Phantom X, but as far as what I'm most excited to play, I don't know. I guess it is
The
Phantom
X-Force
X.
team base?
I guess it is. I guess it is Phantom X, but really I'm just happy that there's going to be all these pieces that I see that are really efficient, and I know that I'll be playing a lot.
Yeah,
like
that's-
Longshot and Beast and Cyclops.
Beast.
That common
That's probably
Cyclops
my-
I'll probably play a lot.
Now,
Like,
I will
those
say-
kind of pieces I'm more excited for because
will
I
say
know I'll
the
play
one
it.
thing this set has going for it compared to like Spider-Man, while I love Spider-Man and every figure they put in there, a lot of it is mystical stuff. And like I don't play too many like super mystical teams, but like this set, there's a lot of stuff all over the board that I could see myself throwing in this team or that team or this team. There's some new archetypes of teams and keywords that I've never played with that I'm going to be excited to try.
Like Mojoverse.
Mojoverse.
As far as the responses we got from the community, I got around 25-ish answers. I appreciate everybody participating, and we'll give new ones every week. I'm probably going to put them up on Wednesday on Twitter and on Reddit and Facebook. The number one answer that I got was Nightcrawler in both variations. The
I think that
regular.
was,
Yeah, that was kind of a
one
given.
I'm excited for.
A lot of people also said Magneto Prime,
Yeah.
including Phil. Gambit was another big one,
Woo!
and the Chase Cyclops.
Oh man,
People are excited
I am
about
so
it.
psyched for those chases.
We also got Phantom X, Jubilee Prime, and the Colossus Kitty duo, which is really cool too.
Yep.
for a marquee especially.
Yeah.
What slot is the Magneto Professor X? Is that super rare?
It's a super.
I'm excited for that piece.
I don't
I
think
go
it's
back.
officially spoiled. Well,
I want
if
that.
you
It's not
notice,
officially spoiled.
the
but
last Wolverine the X-Men spoiled at the end, they hinted that that's going to be the next one they spoil.
That's
I think
probably
someone
my Havoc in that piece. I want that.
yeah, someone confirmed I think in the forums that it's in the SR slot.
So I've been talking or kind of going back and forth messing with the guys that Push the Regen because we were already talking to them on Twitter, and then they had mentioned that they liked the podcast, and I'd mentioned that I listen to theirs, which theirs is bi-weekly, so every couple weeks.
What
And
lazy
then-
bum.
And then after we did the community question, like the same night, Push the Region's like, well, I'm totally going to steal this from Dial H for Heroclix and ask, what's this week's community question? What's your favorite figure you want out of Iron Man?
I like that question much better.
And shut up. And so we were going back and forth, just messing with them. And then Austin gave us the bright idea that we should call their voicemail
Oh, Jesus
on their
Christ.
podcast, and we should mess with them. So we're going to call them live. This probably won't work out. They probably got the wrong number or something. And we're just going to totally F with them just for fun.
Can I ask it?
Let's see if...
Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to reach.
Push to reject.
Hi, Dial H. If a Clicks player tosses his dice at 2 point... Oh, never mind.
Here, I'll give the intro and then you ask the question.
In before we get some guy's house or something.
Like, yeah, it's Ted.
I was in the middle beating my wife, and now I gotta get...
The fuck is Push to Regen? It's some kind of prank.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for calling the Push to Regen voicemail. Go ahead and tell us about any tournaments you guys have been playing in lately or any news or questions you might have for the show. Thanks for calling. Bye.
Hey, guys, this is Hunter and the Dial H crew. Say hi, guys.
Hey.
Hello.
We wanted to call and ask you a very serious question. We're prepping for Gen Con, and we are trying to get all our ducks in a row so we can win. And we figured who best to ask than the guys over at Push the Regen. So, Austin, he has a very overbearing question.
Okay, so if a Clicks player tosses his dice at 2.8 meters per second towards the table with a tilt of 40 degrees on one and 84 on the other, with the center mass starting with 6s up on both, what's the likelihood to be able to hit an 8 or higher on a Justice League team base with a Centroid on click 4 when the Justice League team base is on click 9?
This is very important to Austin's meta. Just want to throw that out there that if he wins that Old Man Logan that he wants so bad, it will be all thanks to you. And if he loses and he doesn't get it, his tears will be on your hand. His blood will be on your hands.
He's got a poster on his wall.
Hit us up, guys. Later. All right, I think that went pretty well.
Considering how badly I
I thought we were going to get some dude's Craigslist ad. Yeah, you reply to my sex.
Single white female, that's me. Anyway, that was probably horrible radio. Let's move in. One guy, A Pierce Theory, brought up a good topic.
This name's looking familiar to
Yeah.
me.
Whatever that is.
A Pierce Theory is a friend of ours, Harry, that plays at a few of our venues.
No,
And
but
he gives
he
us
responded a few weeks ago.
he gives us good questions and things to mention on the podcast. He gave us another one with Gen Con coming up. He wants to know what Gen Con etiquette should other players follow whenever they go.
Shower.
Number one on all of our minds.
Seriously.
Take a shower, guys. Wear deodorant. That's about it. You don't even have to put on any cologne. You don't have to smell good. Just don't stink.
All hotels have a shower. You have no excuse. I don't care if you're from like Taiwan or something coming in. I love Heroclix.
We love Taiwan, guys. Don't take Drew's.
When did I say I hated Taiwan?
I don't know, but I don't want anybody to take it.
Taiwan has a very huge Heroclix scene.
I thought that was fighting game scene.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, anyways. Number one, take a shower, wear deodorant. It's not that hard. Even just wear deodorant. Whatever. We've all played at venues or not clicks. All our clicks guys are really well. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never had that big a problem.
Yeah,
maybe
seriously.
once or twice at Blue Moon.
But with the other games,
gaming, Magic, and some other ones.
I haven't experienced that. I'm glad.
Okay.
Jeez,
The
man.
nerd funk's one of the worst things you'll ever smell in your life. And it's few things ruin an experience as much as sitting across the table from a guy who literally makes you sick to your stomach while you're trying to play the game.
Pre-releases are horrible. I don't want to go to them anymore
And-
for that reason alone.
And even for like normal people, like you're there for hours on end playing.
It's
you're
hot
gonna get
in
sweaty.
those
You're gonna get hot. It just
rooms.
Fucking Dio.
you pack Dio. Like you take a backpack, throw your Dio in there. Take
That's one
5
thing,
seconds, go to the bathroom.
Definitely take a backpack. Some things to throw in there, I'd say deodorant or
Phone charger.
a phone charger. Most of the rooms have jacks on the outlets on the walls if you need to charge your phone up. Bring definitely a bottle of water. Bring some snacks like protein bars or meal replacement bars and shakes, and that's pretty much all I'm going to be consuming for 4 straight days.
Because I mean, like you'd hate to be in the middle of a tournament and literally be like stomach hurting, hungry. You can just grab a bar out of your bag, buy you the time.
They have food there, but it's a little pricey. We were talking about it on the way here. It's not quite as expensive as like King's Eye, like amusement park food, but it is like $1.50, $2 overpriced, and it's all greasy.
Yeah, it's
if
not
you're
healthy, probably.
yeah.
Yeah, it's hot dogs, it's pizza.
I mean, it's worth getting, but it's a little expensive. So if you want to not have to buy that very often, bring some meal replacement stuff or some kind of snacks, some chips. Trail mix, things like that.
I think it goes without saying on the etiquette too. Just don't go in there to be a douche.
That was my next one.
Yeah, I mean
Well,
that really boils down.
I wasn't going to put it that way, but I was just going to say, shake hands with the opponent before you play. Say, hey, my name's Ricky.
Be a
What's your
graceful
name?
loser.
Blah, 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 blah.
Also, Ricky.
Be polite.
Everyone's gonna be. All of you are gonna say, "Hey, my name's Ricky," and I have Ricky do his
I really
No,
hope that.
we'll all win when they announce the results.
And then we all walk up on stage.
They're like, "Well, we're gonna break this in 4 places."
This old man Logan's gonna get torn limb from limb. Good thing he
But just
didn't
shake
do it.
hands, be polite. If you have a question, ask the judge. And something came up at one of the venues here recently. Just because somebody asks the judge doesn't mean it's anything negative against you just because they asked the judge. Just to reiterate something, it's just one of those things that you want to double check, especially at Gen Con whenever there's a big prize on the line. You want to make sure that you're playing by the rules and that you're not getting the shaft, and even that you're not shafting the other guy accidentally.
Especially in these side tournaments that have weird builds, weird rules, stuff like
Right. There's a lot of questions I have even before we even start
Yeah.
considering, like, do we get a theme for this?
that. Yeah,
Does this
you
count
shot
for
like
that?
tons of emails that way. I shot a few. Like, just make sure if you have questions, never be afraid to ask, because that could save you a lot of hassle in the long run.
And then when you're done, win, lose, draw, shake hands, and be kind to each other, guys. This
You
is
flip the table over on them, and
It's
then you
a friendly
smash their
game.
remains.
It is not a game.
Speaking again of Gen Con, what are your predictions for what's going to win Worlds?
Oh God.
Me.
You're not even participating.
I've got this secret new meta.
It's a zombie team.
It involves 3 Damon Hellstroms and a belt.
All right, well, let's go with obvious. Who thinks a Justice League team base will take first place?
I don't know if it'll take first. I think there's a lot of tech going out against it right now.
Yeah.
The nerf to animal teams with the rotation between Origins and now, I don't think we're going to see any animals up there really unless something new shows up.
Which is unfortunate.
I think a Ghost Rider is going to take first.
Probably.
I think that's pretty much a given at this point.
I don't know. Here's my whole thing. People, I want to say that a mystical team or some kind of Ghost Rider Batmite combo is going to take it. The thing is, and people bring up the fact that Origins top 10, there was only like half of them were Justice League team bases. Number one,
tried to say that.
Number one, the guy that won lost to a Justice League team base in that same tournament, but he still ended up with the best overall records on point. But he also beat the same player in the final.
Yeah.
These teams, while they're good, still do not win consistently against
the
Justice League team base.
Honestly.
Also, a lot of top players, like George Masu, who played the Animal team and did really well, they don't want to play the Justice League team base because they don't like the mechanic. It's a stupid mechanic that's
It's
not
not-
fun to them. And do you want to be the guy who wins Worlds with Justice League team base, or do you want to be the guy who wins it with the Animal
zombie
team
meta
that
team.
nobody saw it coming? You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like if I won Worlds with it, somehow my victory is tainted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
It's kind of like being
A net
the
in
Miami
Magic.
Heat and winning the championship. It's like, we won the championship. It's like, well, it would have been
We
freaking
should've.
disappointment if you didn't.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there goes all
I-
of our
I
Miami
hope-
fans on the podcast.
Nothing against the Heat, but I mean that's the kind of mentality I see towards
No,
it.
everything against the Heat. No.
Go ahead.
I'm really hoping that, like, an underdog, something like you're saying, an animal team, or something that we maybe not seen yet. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. Something to come out, and I know that probably won't happen, but that's
I know,
what
that's what I
if
feel.
you're listening and you're playing a team that is gonna beat Justice League or Ghost Rider or something like that, and nobody really knows about it, I'm rooting for you.
I
Yeah,
wanted that
seriously.
Well,
Slick and
absolutely.
Watsu team to pull it.
But I think that's one reason why we didn't see everybody in Origins getting Justice League, because think about it, you give a player like George Masu or Alex of Avila the Justice League team base, and they master who to pop off when and what to do with them, it cannot be beat. It won't be beat. And I've been talking with people on playtesting against the Justice League team base for months now, and we all agree when a really good player is using it, none of these techniques with Ghost Rider or anything
There's
we're
always
coming
a
up
way
with,
around it.
there's always a way. There's too many options. If you pop off the right person at the right time and do the right things, it will always win unless they just have horrible rolls. The thing is a really good player going to play it? If they do, they will not. I really don't see them losing.
And the other thing is, at Origins, those new ATAs had just come out like a few weeks earlier. Like, people had looked at those ATAs and gone, oh, Heroes Fire.
Nobody saw it coming or what to do against it.
Yeah. And so, like, all these Ghost Riders came out of nowhere because everyone thought they came up with this cool idea. And that's part of the reason we saw so many Ghost Riders. I think now that people are learning how to play the Justice League team bases, they're learning how to abuse their mechanics, and the fact that there's a really restrictive map menu actually this
Yeah,
time, I
seriously.
think it's going to be...
A little way too restrictive in my opinion.
I think it's really
And there's not
short.
any that really help. Like, they could have left, like...
Galactic Guardians maps and Realm of Death?
Yeah, Realm of Death or the Shadowland Fortress that nerfs the range.
Yeah.
Like, there should be a couple options in there. Anyways, I'm
wanna
going
see
to
a
go
hand
out
team
on a
take it.
limb, and I'm going to say Ghost Rider and Batmite, and maybe like a belt and a GCPD cycle with Barry or something like that might take it, because people aren't really ready for Batmite that much either right now. And he is good against the team base. Problem is
I
the
can
team
see
base
it.
can smoke him. They can kill him in one hit.
And then just turn
But the
into
problem
Blast
is,
them.
do you get to do what you want to do with them before it happens? So we'll see. People also have been saying they hope they see us at Gen Con. We'll all four of us here will be there. All 4 days, open to close. We're gonna be tired as hell. But yeah, if you recognize our voice or something, come up and say hi. I'm the tall, buff, handsome, probably the most handsome guy in the room.
I'm going to stab you.
I've
as
got a
soon as we get out.
ponytail. I guess not very many people are tall with ponytails. I'm the tall guy with ponytail. If you see me, come talk to us, all of us.
And I was going to say, actually, I'm really happy because Wednesday, like, someone was like, are you Austin from the podcast? I was like, yeah!
Yeah, Austin is a big shot now. I don't know if everybody's aware of this.
Woo!
Because
Obviously, the
his
most-
voice got recognized at a local venue.
I guess because I talk so much, but...
So now he's a big shot.
I'll be dressed as Joel from The Last of Us on Thursday, and then the other day I'm just gonna be dressed as Ricky. So
That Ricky costume's a good one, man.
I don't know how to describe myself.
You're Andrew.
Disappointing. Look for the most disappointing guy there.
The guy who's crying in the corner.
Who's saying he never wants to play HeroClix again after going up
If
against
you hear
Austin's
the
Sauron
words,
team?
if you hear the words, I'm gonna curse. This game is so fucking stupid. I'm out. That's probably me.
No, if you hear somebody say that on turn 2, it's Drew.
If Drew says I forfeit, no, I'm kidding. We know you're against the right Drew.
He's like, no, I forfeit. No, I'm kidding. No, it's over. Nah, I'm just kidding. Here, I'll play
clear.
it.
And then I somehow end up winning anyway. I don't know.
Let's move on to comics. That's enough community for today. The big ones we want to talk about today are Spider-Man, Superior Spider-Man, and also the offshoots. Couple new issues came out this week. A new Spider-Man, a new Foes of Spider-Man, a new Carnage.
It's Spidey month, of course.
Yeah, it's Spidey month, so they're pushing out issues a little faster.
God, I can deal with a weekly Superior Spider-Man for the rest of my life.
I'm loving Super. What do you think about it, Ricky? Are you liking Superior
I
Spider-Man?
really like it. I think I follow Dan Slott on Twitter, and he was getting like hate mail and death threats and
There's
stuff.
so many people
And it's a comic. Like when Cap died, I was upset, but he's gonna come back. And
But you didn't threaten to mail bomb
no,
him.
I didn't. But besides that, I like where he's going with it. I like Doc Ock being Spider-Man. I like how he's thinking, because even if it's weird because Peter's kind of got that like Capness to him. I know I refer to Cap a lot, but where he like inspires others, you know what I
He's
mean?
a buzzkill.
And and he's like, eat your breakfast. No, but he like
Don't do drugs.
I like
stay
that
in school,
Doc Ock
kids.
is like always questioning, how does Peter do this, or how did Peter do this? Because like Doc Ock thinks he's such a what he is. He's a genius, and he's got all these new tools and stuff. But he's like this. Like, he's always like, this bumbling idiot was just swinging around and got lucky, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it, because he's, like, starting to, like...
Realize Peter's not such a bumbling idiot.
Yeah, he's starting to be, like, amazed at the Spider-Man.
Now, I've got a question for the listeners that have been reading Superior Spider-Man. Because there's some fun rumors going around, a lot of discussion, because there's a lot of people who don't think the Green Goblin is Norman Osborn.
I think it's gonna be Norman.
I agree.
I want to see if anyone has any fun ideas and theories and stuff like that could suggest otherwise.
I'm loving the series myself. Drew, you liking it too?
Dude,
It's so interesting.
They could not have picked a better choice for...
And I was skeptical. I think everybody was skeptical.
They couldn't have picked a better choice for a villain to be Spider-Man, because I think Doc Ock is so calculating and smart, and he tries his best to act like Peter, but he does such a horrible job at it.
Well, everybody's starting to catch on.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody,
Yeah.
but I mean, even
The
the
people
Avengers,
close.
The Avengers
Right. To him.
Which that was kind of... It's like these
Carly
guys...
already knows
Yeah.
what's
Did
going
you
on.
read the team up?
Yes.
The team up was pretty good too. I'm really liking it. I'm looking forward to obviously it's building to a big climax right now of when the Green Goblin and Spider-Man finally go to war effectively. But I'm really, really loving it. I'm really hoping when they do decide to reverse the status quo and go back, they find a way to keep Octavius on board as like an anti-hero or something. I've just become...
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
Well,
to
there's
have
so
him
many
be
Peter
like
Parker
Riddler
clones.
now, where like Riddler kind of helps Batman. I don't know if that's the
He's
current issue.
he's kind of a good guy, yeah.
I don't think... Because the problem is Parker is not happy with Octavius. Octavius just purged him from his mind. I mean, like, Parker's not going to be happy no matter what with Octavius. So he's going to have to be like an on-the-run anti-hero. Kind of like, I guess, Venom kind of is. And I'm really hoping that somehow with like all these Parker clones and stuff, and of course Doctor Strange will of course come in or something, and they'll find a way to restore Parker while keeping Octavius.
Yeah,
in.
I just hope they don't get rid of Octavius, because he's been really
He's
brought
such
out
a good character.
as such this deep, complex character that you didn't know was there before.
And I was talking to a guy on the Marvel subreddit about it. He's like, I don't like it because it felt creepy in the first few issues. Like,
Yeah.
no, that's part of it though. At first, you're like, I don't like Octavius. He's creepy. He's weird. He's odd. This isn't Parker. but you learn to love him, and it's so weird to say that because Octavius is such a creep.
He's like, I'm gonna go bang all these bitches in Peter Parker's body.
And he's just looking at everybody. Yeah, he's just like eyeing all these women by their breasts and stuff, and all this stuff all the whole time.
It's
and
really creepy, but it works. It's just amazing.
it's so well written.
I just had a funny thought. What if Green Goblin is Peter somehow?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. What if it's a Parker clone, or if Peter...
No, I mean it's Peter.
Yeah.
Like somehow.
Yeah, that could work.
That'd be funny.
What about Foes?
Let's go to a negative note. Well, Foes, awesome.
It's my favorite comic.
You
It's
guys,
really good.
You guys drilled me.
I haven't read the new issue.
Oh, the new one's
Oh,
so
I
good.
haven't read it yet.
No, the ending.
Wait
my
till
favorite
you-
part.
Wait until you meet Boomerang's lawyer, because
That's exactly what I was
Boomerang's
going to say.
lawyer is like the greatest.
he is the
lawyer ever.
MVP of the Marvel Universe for 2013. Mark my words.
He's hilarious. You can just see him like that character. You can just picture it in his head.
You can. I like him because he's one of those characters where his personality is so well written. You have a voice for him immediately.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
you can picture him like almost like it's a movie in your head. Like you can picture that guy. And
It's-
everybody knows somebody
My
like him.
favorite thing though is like the slight fourth wall breaking kind of explanation from the narration in it. It's just so perfect. Like and
You gotta read that issue.
You gotta read it.
I just wanted to spoil something right now,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna do
The
it.
characters
Oh, I'll
are
read that.
awesome too.
Yeah.
Well, let's not spoil it because it just came out Wednesday.
Yeah.
We won't spoil things unless they've been out like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Needless to say, though, Boomerang has become my favorite villain. And
I'm not.
He's
gonna-
awesome.
Yeah.
All the characters are awesome.
Okay.
Carnage, I am not liking.
I haven't.
Have you
started
guys read it?
I'm waiting because it's only like what?
Have you
4
read it, Ricky?
issues?
No, I didn't
haven't
read
read it.
It's
Okay. It starts off very interesting. The premise, you'll find this out in the first 2 pages, is that Carnage is tied up, is incarcerated, and the essential premise is that the Frightful Four, namely Wizard and Claw, are wanting to break him out and use him as a suit, kind of like Venom is, and that's where it goes. Interesting idea to start with, but in the first issue I was kind of trying to stay optimistic about. The second issue I didn't like as much. I do like I do like Claw and
I'm
the
kind of
Frightful
waiting
Four,
until
but
like all 4 are out till I read it. But I just remember one of my favorite parts from the Superior Foes, and it kind of made me laugh, was when Boomerang's hanging from the light pole and he tells the kid that if this ends up on Instagram, he will find him. And I lost it. Oh my god. Go read Foes.
we already said Team Up is good.
Just go.
Has everybody read Scarlet Spider?
No,
I have not. It's on my list.
None of you guys have read Scarlet Spider?
No, dude, I'm not a huge
Okay.
Scarlet Spider.
I have
guy.
told Austin like every other day, like
Hunter-
you need to read Scarlet Spider.
Hunter, I want to explain something to
It's
you.
so good.
Every week I hear a "you must read this," and between Invincible and how
Yeah,
much
I
you
just
just
got
passed
through
that
it.
for a month, and
Hey, you should go read Hellblazer. Seriously, go read Hellblazer.
all 700 something issues.
300.
Scarlet Spider follows Kane, and he is no longer a killer and a bad guy. He's trying to be a good guy, but I mean, he still kills when he has to. But basically, he's running away. The premise of the whole series, because there's like 30 some issues now.
Yeah.
The premise of the whole series is he's running away. He's on his way to Mexico, which is why he ends up in Houston. And something happens, and he decides to stop and save this girl. And then he saves her, but then the girl presents this interesting problem that he decides to stay and help her with.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just gets entangled in all this other stuff. It's very good, very well written,
And
very
then
well
the
drawn.
upcoming team up, Scarlet Spider and Superior Spider-Man,
Yeah.
isn't it?
If you start reading it, you'll fly through it. They're
Is it
short,
really good?
they're fast, they're fun, they're action packed.
I'll
It's
check it
really,
out.
really good. Venom is excellent. I know you've read.
I'm
Venom.
like 32 issues in or something like that. There's like 30.
Have you guys read Venom, Drew? And
I need to read it.
Oh my gosh,
Venom
Ricky,
is
Ricky, you'd love it.
Probably the best Spidey series out right now, especially the first half of Venom.
For long, if we're going on long running, I'm going to put it over Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But if Superior Spider-Man gets like 20 issues in and keeps as it's going, I think I'd like it better.
Venom is amazingly entertaining.
Flash is a character that I honestly like. I'm going to be like blunt here. I haven't been a long time comic reader. I know Flash by name, and I'd seen him occasionally in other stuff. But like to actually sit down and learn how Flash works, his relationships with everybody, and all that stuff. He's a really good character, and they write it really well.
In old Spidey
He's
books,
badass.
he's fleshed out like him, Betty, Mary Jane, Peter. Like he's a fleshed out character and personality. But in Venom, you just get full focus on him, and not only him, freaking Jack-O-Lantern
Oh, yeah,
man.
Jack-o'-lantern's hilarious.
Man, he is amazingly written in the
If
Venom
Jack-o'-lantern's
series.
in it, I gotta read it.
It's the absolute
Dude, it
best.
starts off right off
Yeah,
the bat. You
it's
gotta
the
read
best
it.
Jack-o'-lantern writing
Uh,
ever.
Venom's my Flash Thompson Venom is my favorite part of Secret Avengers when it was going. When he was a big part, and then now Thunderbolts.
Oh, we should. Well, I was gonna say we should talk about some Secret Avengers here in a minute.
Yeah, that is actually on here. We were going to talk about Secret Avengers last week or the week before, and I was like, no, we better wait till Ricky's on here. Because Ricky's a big Avengers fan, and I was actually curious what you're thinking of Secret Avengers so far.
The new, so with like Taskmaster and all that stuff.
Yeah, the new run of
Yeah,
Secret
it's. I like it. The first issue was cool because they kind of tied in with the Avengers movie, which I feel like Avengers Assemble and this are kind of trying to do.
Yeah.
And so I like it. I feel like it's an easy jumping on point for people who are, just has seen the movies and want to start reading comics. I feel like those
Or
Avengers
even-
Assembles and this one are.
Even for people who read comics but don't
Right.
read a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff.
Yeah, because it's, well, like the Budapest thing. They show
They made-
what happened
yeah.
at Budapest. And
And
I was
then
like,
the movies reference that when he says, or when she says, "This isn't Budapest" or
or
whatever.
this is like, and he's like, I remember this very differently.
Yeah, we
And
both remember
I like
Budapest.
that Agent Fury is a little bit like, he's like a little
Running
corrupt.
gun.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And he was like when they took out Hawkeye in that first or second issue?
The second one, yeah. That's
Yeah.
very good. That whole storyline was
I
one.
was-
And
I
I
would
like
recommend it.
Tasky being kind of like,
Is a good guy, but not a good guy. Yeah.
Well, that's how he always is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they write Taskmaster really well in this. I think, who else was it? There
The
was a-
whole thing with not only Secret Avengers, across all the Marvel books right now, the whole AIM Island thing is really interesting, too.
Oh, I love the idea of it. Because, I mean, like, you always think about, like, AIM and Hydra, like, they have all this power and stuff. Why don't they just, like, build, like, one giant super base?
Well, Hydra's been fleshed out many times, as Ricky
Yeah.
can tell you, but AIM has, but not to this,
Yeah.
where it looks like they're going.
and I love the...
With all this,
the-
especially with the Infinity event coming up and them being a very key
one
component of
that
it.
the lead, what is it? The Supreme,
The Scientist
Supreme.
I love
He's
the back and
he's
forth.
a jerk, man.
Yeah, he's
like,
awesome.
He's like taking his own people out, and you're just kind of like,
I love him. Like, his writing and everything was great, too. But, there's some fun stuff that happens in that book. I'd recommend it to a lot of people. And
There's
I want a movie for it.
The art's really
Yeah.
good, too.
I would love a Secret Avengers movie that's more like Secret
it would
Agent
have to
style,
be
and
kind of
less
like Shield
superhero.
though, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Cap 2 is supposed to be more Shield, revolved around Shield, which I won't. I could talk about that for another 2 hours. So we won't
Have
talk
you guys watched the show yet?
about-
No,
What,
I
the
didn't.
new-
I didn't know it was out yet.
The new show. Oh, I thought the first episode came out. Because
No,
I had
it might-
I had heard people say online that it was really, really good, but I
I
haven't
haven't
seen it.
it yet.
I hope it's good.
If I did, I missed it, and I'm terrible. So
I'm gonna wait
I
till
would've-
like a few come out and then watch it all in a row. But
What do you
I'm
guys-
pretty optimistic about it.
I know this might be a little off topic. What do you think about the new cartoon? Has anybody seen that?
The one that followed Mightiest Heroes. Mightiest
Marvel's.
I haven't
Avengers
even
Assemble.
finished the original. I'm at the end.
Oh, okay.
Mightiest Heroes I loved. Me and Aaron loved it. Aaron loved it as someone who didn't know much about the universe. I liked it because while it strayed from the comics, it was still okay in some points,
Right.
and they hit a bunch of the big events. I totally dislike the new show. I'm just not enjoying it at all.
It's good. It's
Following
all right.
Mightiest
yeah.
Heroes, it's a hard follow.
Well, I feel like it's suffering because they want to tie in with the movie and they want to put like I like Falcon a lot but I miss Black Panther. You know what I mean? I miss all these characters that I've like for 2 seasons I watched, and even though I read about them in the comics, like it's different when it's visual. You know?
Yeah,
like,
there's
visual
just
like
something cooler about the shows
Yeah.
than comics.
So now it's just kind of like you're restarting, even though you know these characters, you know Tony Stark's origin, you know Cap's origin, you know Hulk's, but it's just kind of like
We're not really the target demographic.
Do they
That's the same thing.
reboot? Do they reboot the whole thing? Like
They don't really-
re-explain everybody?
they don't. No, they don't.
It's not a hard reboot. It's kind of a soft one.
It's a soft reboot, but it's just kind of like Tony's more the leader, except unless they're like in a battle. You know what I mean? Cap kind of takes over. It's just I don't know. It's It's not as good as Earth's Mightiest in my opinion.
Yeah, same in mine.
Yeah,
What do you
and that's
think about
really the
Mightiest?
only. I still haven't finished the original one. I'm like halfway through it. I like it. doesn't hold a candle to Young Justice, but Young Justice got canceled for no mother freaking reason. Which Young Justice is one of the best. You guys
I
need
still
to
need
watch.
to watch it.
It's one of the best animated shows ever made, behind like old Teen Titans and Batman animated series and Batman Beyond stuff. But and some of the old X-Men shows too.
One of Batman
But
Beyond
Young Justice, I mean, it's written by Jeff Johns and by DC, like guest DC writers, so of course it's good. But so that's why I compare it to that. Like any other comics cartoon I watch, I'm like, how's this compared to the best?
Right.
It's more kiddie than Young Justice, but it's not too kiddie.
Yeah,
it's not Superior Spider-Man.
That's what me and Aaron
kiddie.
liked about it, was we could enjoy it without feeling like we're watching a kid's show.
Yeah, the voice work isn't super doesn't
it's up
downplay
and
to you a
down.
lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does. The initial issues or episodes kind of do.
And there's a few like Easter eggs in it that I kind of like too, where like they make offhand references or jokes. To
They
it.
do a good job of. I was worried that they would just do like the basic villains over and over, like it'd be like Thor and Loki over and over. But they do a good job of like
There's an ongoing
Modoc's
plot.
in it.
Yeah, there's a good
And,
ongoing
yeah,
plot.
there.
Is it Graviton? That-
Yeah.
I think Whirlwind
Graviton's
was
big
in
one.
like the 4th or 5th
Yeah.
episode, and I was
Yeah.
like, Whirlwind?
Whirlwind!
Like they're doing a good job of mixing
Whirlwind
things
better
up.
be the villain in the Ant-Man movie is all I'm saying. The whole movie.
Just Whirlwind.
The movie poster just Whirlwind like this in the city.
He's a
Just
cool, I like that villain.
So, Cap, what do you think? What do you now that this big? It wasn't really an event, but this big, huge, long arc has wrapped up. What do you think about it, Ricky?
Okay, so at first, like, well, everybody knows around here, and a lot of my friends know I love Ed Brubaker. I've tried to read everything he comes out with.
Hunter's gay for Jeff Johns. Ricky's gay for Brubaker.
Brubaker, his run on Cap, that first like 25 issues, and then when Bucky takes over, I really liked everything he did up until when they rebooted it, like issue 1, and they did a Maridroid and some of that stuff. That was whatever. But I like it's Remender, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I like what he's doing because he took Cap, which I've read a lot of Cap books, and he took Cap and made him fresh to even me because he made him like they went into his backstory with his dad and with his mom, and you saw like where Cap, like he always says in this book, like get back up, you know what I mean, or you know what I mean. He's trying to, he's always fighting through something, and then you see that with I think the stuff with Ian, where he doesn't want to lose Ian, is kind of paying homage to when Bucky.
to Bucky. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
the
feel
kid even
like
starts looking like Bucky.
yeah,
kind of.
and I feel like with that, it brought back a part of Cap that's been missing a little bit since Bucky's been back.
And he himself says that actually in the book too. He says like that whole having something to protect makes him feel like what it is to be Captain America. He's no longer a man on a mission.
The series
He's
does
a
a
man.
good. Remender does a good job of putting Cap in this interesting situation that, while it does reintroduce Cap's themes, like going over his childhood and how he came to be how he does. You don't, even as somebody who's read everything Cap like you have, it's, even though it's rehashing stuff, it still feels fresh.
Yeah,
That's-
and Zola is like
They did
he's
such a
one of
good
those
job with
villains.
Zola.
That villain that gets under your freaking skin.
Yeah.
That you just want, like, you want to be in the comics so you can punch him in the stupid
And-
teleface. You know what I mean?
and
You're so mad at him, but then he has that little soft moment with Jet at the end.
Oh my gosh,
And
yes.
it,
And
know,
it's like,
sometimes I get a little
strangle
emotional
him.
when I read comics, so I'm not gonna say I cried, but
He cried.
I cried.
But, like, and here's the thing.
Hunter said it.
He's crying right now.
I don't know if I've ever said it on the podcast. Like, I'm a Tony Stark fan. Of course
No,
I'm a Tony,
really?
No, of course I'm a Tony Stark fanboy. But like, my issue with
Also
Cap
known as
is
homosexual.
whatever. I don't like. I typically don't like Cap because Cap's a buzzkill to everything like Tony wants to do. Like, if Tony wants to blow up a planet to save billions and save like 50 other planets.
Yeah, Cap can be annoying. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's usually my hit with Cap, but it's not like my hit at him as a character.
I think that's more on the. Oh, keep going. Sorry.
Well, that's not really my hit on Cap as a character.
Right.
I still like him as a character. It's just like he frustrates me sometimes.
Bendis to me writes Cap the worst,
I agree, full-heartedly.
except for the prison breakout in New Avengers.
Yeah.
Some of those stuff he did it all right with Cap, But for some reason, I mean, obviously Brubaker and Remender's doing a good job, and some of the older stuff. But I usually don't like this guy's writing, and I can't think of his name.
Jeff Loeb.
Yes, Jeff Loeb. He did Fallen Sun, and that wasn't. I mean, that didn't focus too much on Cap because it was more the people affecting him. But if you've never read Captain America: Fallen Sun, you should read it because it's right after he dies, but it's really good.
You are right that Bendis does always write Cap as the buzzkill,
and I think that's part of my problem.
The pain in the ass. I don't really like Bendis that much, honestly, at all. But the funny thing is, like, his Daredevil, and Brubaker's Daredevil is so good, and Ultimate Spider-Man is my favorite comic series. Like, if you took every comic ever, that's my favorite comic series, and he wrote that, and I love it.
Bendis is on something he's like in love with, like something that he considers.
I mean, that was his baby, yeah. And so kind of was Daredevil back in the day.
You can't throw him characters that he's not used to writing. Like, I feel like he's given Cap to use, so he just throws Cap in there.
Well, it's because Marvel wants Cap to be in.
Well, they're pushing him big.
Like my frustration with the New Avengers. Me and Hunter went over this with you. I know once in the truck was that I felt like Cap was thrown in there out of nowhere.
I think they and then. But the way the Illuminati works, like, I like that they did that. I like that they tried to put Cap in there.
Put a foil in there.
But Cap is too, like...
They didn't write him well enough to...
I felt like...
It was annoying.
I felt like Hickman had this idea, and they're like, you gotta put Cap in the book. It's Avengers. And he's like, I don't want Cap in this book. And they're like, no, you have to put Cap in the book.
So he's like, Cap's gonna be a nerd.
He's like, F this crap, man. I'm getting rid of Cap as soon as I can.
I know Cap is in a lot of
He just breaks the ebb of
and
the
it's
otherworldly
too.
It could have been done well. That's the thing.
It wasn't done that bad.
It wasn't bad, but it could have been done better, I feel like.
I feel like New Avengers is really otherworldly. I feel like the characters that are in there make sense. I feel like since Cap is like a normal character, a normal Avenger, he's like the cornerstone of the Avengers, you know what I mean? So he's always leading the team. I feel like they wanted to put that in there for the reader, say, okay, Cap's in the book. And then they say, well, this is way over Cap's head. Cap's wielding a gauntlet and, you know what I mean, trying to...
Yeah.
And I feel like...
What a douche.
I feel like that they did that to help the reader.
And, I agree. And
they did it to sell books.
Well,
back on the Cap.
And to push the movies that are coming.
Back on Cap, though, what I like about it is it's very... it's almost a post-apocalyptic feel.
Well, that's how Remender writes.
Yeah.
And as soon as they said Cap was doing it, I was like, this ain't going to be your Brubaker Cap on the street book, and it's not.
When I picked up Cap to start reading it yesterday, I went through all the issues. When I picked it up yesterday to start reading it, I was expecting a S.H.I.E.L.D., a very Secret Avengers-like, straightforward, Cap's on a mission to do this, but something from his past, yada, yada, yada. No. Instead what I got was a very post-apocalyptic feel, some really, really foreign and weird environments, a very detestable, well-written villain, and then questions. Like, at the end of that, I'm not going to spoil anything, they give you so many more questions on top of it than you started with.
When Remender said he was going to do Zola, that's when I was like, well, obviously I was going to buy the book anyway, but then I was like, well, I'll put it on my pull list, because Zola just, to me, is one of my favorite villains.
It feels like Uncanny X-Force, the writing and the art, it feels very much Rick Remender.
Yeah.
But still stays true to Cap. I was pretty happy with it too. At first, when I very first read the first couple issues and it sets the premise up with Zola and the Zola world, I was like, that's an interesting idea. And then a few issues went on, and I was like, you're starting to lose me a little bit. But it turned out
picks back up.
It turned out very, very well. I was by the end of it, I was like all into Jet and
Jet might be
Ian, and I was like, man, I'm loving this.
Jet's a great character too, and that's what I was talking to Ricky about last night. For such a short character that you haven't known for more than a few issues, she really develops fast, like emotionally and depth wise. They did a great job with her.
I hope they do. Well, I think it's inevitable, but I hope they do a Marvel Now set and have Jet and
a new Zola like that.
Yeah, and so I mean, obviously pull from the other books, but I think it'd be cool to have a little sub. I think that sub theme for each comic should be in there. If they did a hero.
I just want to mutate generic that has like shape change.
That'd be pretty cool.
Real quick, touch on video games. Ricky, what have you been playing?
Last of Us, like 10 hours so far, and it's...
That's my next... I'm starting it tomorrow.
It's... You know how sometimes you, like... like Gears of War, for example. I'm just playing a game. I don't really care about the story so much.
Right.
I do the action, so I kind of just skip through. Like today, my fiance and my little baby were making a little bit too much noise, and I was trying to like focus on the story, and I'm like, hey, shh, like I was like, because the story is just it's so good. And little Ellen Page, it's not really Ellen Page, but it's like Naughty Dog pretty much
modeled after her.
Yeah,
it's Ellen Page
without her permission. But she like the banter between them it's amazing. In the first 10 minutes, if you're a father or if you have a soul, you'll probably be like,
well, I'm out.
Yeah, you'll be like, it hits
sold mine for an Iron Man
really
figure.
It really hits you, especially like I'm a dad, so that part was just like made me go and hold
really
my daughter
good,
and be like, no, it's anyway.
I'm
not
looking.
spoil anything, but
I'm looking forward to it.
prepare to cry, honey.
It's pretty sad.
I don't cry. I
But
cry.
and it's not like you know how Dead Space they do a lot of jump scares and stuff to get you. This is like just
straight eeriness.
it's eerie
Intensity
and
kind
it's
of thing.
intense. Yeah, it's like you're get caught in a trap and you're upside down and Ellie's getting attacked and you're trying to shoot upside down.
Yeah.
It's like really cool game mechanics like that make it fresh to me.
The atmosphere's perfect in that game.
I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm starting it tomorrow. I was playing Metro for the last couple of days, and I did the exact same thing I did with the first one. I played it. I was like, this is a cool game. This is a cool idea.
And you get bored.
And then a couple hours later, I'm like, this is the same goddamn thing over and over and over. Like,
I mean,
even though it's good, I'm not going to finish this
It was
thing.
the same thing with Stalker for me, kind of like, I love Stalker. I love that universe. But, like, after a few hours of it, it's the same thing over and over
Yeah.
and over.
Before I played Metro, I played the new Tomb Raider, and I was ecstatic with how it turned out. Man,
It's good.
I watched
really
a
good.
bunch of streamer friends of mine play it, and oh my god.
The story's not bad. The main thing is the gameplay and the graphics. It's basically it's a slightly more realistic take on an Uncharted.
It has some Far Cry elements
That's
too.
another game I want to play
Yeah.
as Uncharted.
It feels more realistic. Like at the beginning, it almost feels just like a survivor simulator. Like when
Yeah,
you're
you're
learning
like,
how
I'm
to
about
hunt.
to fucking
Like,
die.
And the thing about it is, gamers of any fan of certain parts of gaming, like I feel like anybody can pick up this game and like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got a good all around.
It's not super in depth on.
And
a lot of
Tomb
things.
Raider is a name people know, so it's
Yeah.
gonna sell well.
The one problem I have with Last of Us, well, there's two things real fast, and then we can move on. There's like really endearing moments with the two characters, but even I've never owned a PS3, and I was fortunate enough to have somebody let me borrow it, and I've always been a Microsoft. I mean, I have PS1 and PS2, but I've been an Xbox 360 fanboy for a
Are
while.
you converted, brother? Have you
I've-
come over to the
I've
light?
never
You haven't
seen-
even played all the other games yet.
Exactly, but I've never seen graphics. I mean, PC I know, but I've never seen graphics that good. And there's a little hiccups in
It's
there.
Brother Ricky, welcome to us.
But there's like even
Welcome
when you guys are
to
hiding,
dark side.
like there'll be some like the monsters in the game, the infected. They're not even like the main thing you're afraid of. It's the people. It's like this post-apocalyptic world that's
They're
like
desperate.
Yeah, they're desperate. They want to kill you. But anyway, you'll be like hiding behind a counter, and Ellie's like sitting right under your arm, like you know what I mean, like, and it looks good.
Naughty Dog did a great job
Yeah,
with the
and it
animations.
looks
in
good.
there.
Their animation, their freaking
I need to play
Nate
Uncharted.
Drake looks like he's. I mean, it really looks. The animation, the climbing animation, is just perfect. It looks
Yeah,
realistic,
I need
even
to
though
play
it's
those games.
obviously way out of bounds. Like
When-
you can never do that. It looks realistic.
When I imagine their mocap studio, I imagine their suit is literally just made of dots.
How long do you have the PlayStation for?
Well, he said I can borrow it for as long as I want.
All right, and we're going in
We're
my
gonna get
when
you
we
a list.
we're going in my room, and we're getting you all
I'm
the.
getting excited.
You're getting all the Uncharted's.
Okay.
Did you ever play Shadow of the Colossus on PS2?
No.
All right, you're taking
Do it.
that home.
I got. What
else do I have
I
that
do
you
have
need
Metal Gear
to-
Solid 4, which I'm excited for because I haven't
You
played
excited
that.
to watch?
Yeah,
Well-
I don't even. I didn't even like it.
I love
Oh,
it.
what?
Have you played God of War 3?
No, I
Alright,
haven't
you're
played any of the God
Taking
of
God of War
I'll play.
3. What else?
Ratchet and Clank.
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
He's got to play one Ratchet and
The
Clank
PS3
game.
ones aren't that
Do
great.
they have
I agree, but-
Crash Bandicoot anymore?
No, damn it.
Ooga Booga or whatever. I like that.
Maybe Nino Kuni. I don't know.
No,
I'm still playing that right now.
You look at Dynasty Warriors.
There's a ton.
I'm still trying to beat Dark Souls, but Last of Us right now has just got me so
Dark Souls is a
involved
couple
in, like,
hundred hours.
Yeah, Dark Souls is a game
Yeah.
you can pick up and drop. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like a story game where you have to play through it in like one.
No, I'm saying once you get into it,
Oh, yeah, but
you're
I-
going to be sunk in it
I hope
for
it-
hundreds of hours.
Honestly, back to Heroclix for a second. I really want a
What?
lot of.
Heroclix.
How dare you?
I really want like a Last of Us like little starter set or something. Just something cool for collectors because I would buy that.
I want to see a
Or
lot
Metal
more.
Gear Solid.
Oh,
something
did you
like-
play BioShock?
Yeah.
The Infinite?
Yes.
And the old
Oh,
one?
okay, so I'm still the odd man.
But I haven't beat it yet. I'm on.
What?
I'm going in.
How do you start it and not beat it?
I'm going into because I got Last of Us. I'm going into the mansion right now. Or
Oh,
whatever.
there's still a lot after that.
Yeah.
I mean, never mind.
On the
I'm
subject,
so excited.
on what he was saying, though, I would like to see. I'm happy they're doing a lot of video game properties. Like the Dota 2 ones are looking awesome.
Speaking of Dota 2, what were you playing this weekend, Drew? Oh, Dota 2.
Yeah, no one asked Drew what he was playing.
We haven't got to Drew yet.
I know, I'm just interjecting. We make
Sorry.
myself
He's
feel
wearing a
important.
Dota 2
I
lanyard.
talk a lot.
That's how you'll recognize him at Gen Con. He's wearing a Dota 2 lanyard.
And he'll have a Manco hat on because that hat's balling.
I do like
I've
You
thought
better-
about stealing it a few times, I'm not gonna lie.
my hat's pretty good.
Speaking of Manco, I played a little TF2 this week.
Really?
It's still the best game ever.
Did you buy a bunch of keys?
No, I didn't buy anything.
How have you not given in?
I haven't bought anything.
You will break one day, Hunter Smith.
That's enough for this week. Next week, we will not be recording on Sunday, like I said, because we will be at Gen Con. We will be putting out a short episode sometime during the week. That'll be number
To
6.
rage about neckbeards.
To rage about how we got our butts kicked. Episode 7 will be back on full schedule on Sundays. There'll be a community question. You'll get the full news, spoilers, etc. Follow us on Twitter on Dial H4, the number 4. Dial H4 Heroclix. That's on Twitter. I want to thank Phil.
Character limits.
Phil has been hard at work on our Twitter, and he and I both have been on there answering questions and talking to people and messing around with Push to Regen.
And I post random stuff once in a blue moon.
I
Like
can get a Twitter.
Like us on Facebook. It's Dial H4 spelled out. Dial H4 Heroclix. You can also contact us directly on there, chat with us on PMs or whatever, if you just want to talk.
Stalk us.
I
Do
also post the questions of the week, the community questions on there. Subscribe to us on iTunes, rate us on iTunes. We are on Reddit, the Click subreddit. That is where I also go on there and ask for feedback, and you can give us any kind of feedback. You can answer our community question.
I would like to say that we've gotten great feedback, especially on Reddit.
Yeah, I want to
it's-
thank everybody on Reddit for staying in contact with us and giving us good feedback that helps us improve our podcast, and also answering the community questions, and just for supplying the community with good
and just
info.
talking.
Seriously.
It's just
Yeah,
fun
it's
conversation.
it's just nice having conversations with other guys, about clicks
It's-
like that.
It's just when you hear people like the things you're doing, you just get happy and you're like, yay.
Oh.
We are on Podbean, Dial H for Heroclix.podbean.com. You can't hide from us. We're everywhere.
We are everywhere.
We
We're
are
not on Tumblr. We're not.
The-
on
We,
Dig,
we are
we're
the
not
multiple
on-
man of podcasts.
the all-seeing, all-knowing crap of the world.
We are Uatu.
Thanks for
The speaker.
thanks for joining us. We will get back to you on either Tuesday or Wednesday.